Coming up here in moments on CBS Sports Network, our final game of the night. Boise State, Colorado State, will see you back at halftime.
Fans in Fort Collins are fired up for a huge Mountain West showdown as their Rams come home winners of 2 straight. And although Halloween is come and gone, everyone is in for a treat tonight because 2 of the best running backs in the conference take the same field, ready to lead their team to victory. On the other side of the ball, a couple of big-time sack leaders look to shake things up in the Rockies as conference play heats up and the Mountain West stretch run begins. It's been 5 years since Colorado State hosted a meaningful game in November, but the calendar turned and there is a different vibe in Fort Collins this week. The Rams have won 3 of their last 4, and with a division title in sight, they are pumped up as they take sunny Lubick Field. Standing in their way, a team that has dominated them over the last 2 years. Boise State can still be kings of the Mountain West, but they need to conquer CSU on the road. As we welcome you to Hughes Stadium, a Mountain Division battle between the Broncos and Rams, and the stakes are high. Here's a look at the updated standings. You just saw Utah State beat Hawaii, but this one tonight controls their own destiny for a division title. Boise State, if they win, holds the tiebreaker over Utah State. And if Colorado State wins, they'll see the Aggies later this month. Hi, everyone. Alongside Aaron Taylor, I'm Andrew Catalan. 2008 is the last time the Rams had a record of 500 or better in the month of November. But there is renewed optimism under second-year head coach Jim McElwain. Aaron, what would a win tonight mean for this Colorado State program?
Well, when McElwain took over 2 years ago, he knew internally he had to change the culture of this program, and I think we've definitely seen signs of that. But externally, I think the perception of this program would change with a win tonight and therefore improve its trajectory. And this is a team that hasn't won the conference championship since 2002. For Boise State, let's be honest, it's been an uphill battle, the brutal road schedule and all those injuries. They win tonight. This puts them in the driver's seat, allows them to finish the year strong, but to do that, they've got to do something they haven't been able to do so far this year, and that's win on the road.
And for Boise State, Jay Ajayi remains the focal point of the offense, but the spotlight will be on Grant Hedrick. The backup quarterback makes his second career start in place of the injured Joe Southwick. He's established himself as a runner, but let's take a look at his passing style in our LGI vision, brought to you by the new LG G2.
Yeah, you're right. Hedrick is a runner, but he's completed 70% of his balls here against BYU. The first third down of the game, they bring a corner fire, so his pre-snap read is going to look a little different than his post-snap read. They're running a smash route concept where the number 1 receiver does a hitch, the number 2 receiver runs a corner route. As Hedrick takes the snap, he looks. If the corner sits on the hitch, that means that the number 2 receiver should be wide open in the corner. He's got to get rid of that ball quickly, and it should be a first down. Colorado State will try and pressure Boise State today. For them to do it, Hedrick's got to make a good job and make some good reads and get rid of the football, because let me tell you what, 56 Shaquille Barrett is an undersized but slippery pass rusher. He loves to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. He's got a variety of pass rush moves, and he'll be a good test for a Boise State offensive line. We'll have some new faces today.
Yeah, he's a stud for Jim McElwain, the former Alabama offensive coordinator in his second year with the Rams, and he's with our Lauren Gardner.
Thank you, Andrew. Coach, Boise State has outscored this team 105-27 in the previous 2 meetings. What do you need to do differently here tonight?
Well, first of all, you reminded me of it. Now, should I take them back in? But,
no, keep them out here.
All right. No, I tell you what, this is a different ball squad, and I'm excited to see how they come out.
Coach, you guys have created a lot of buzz in this community with this first meaningful game in November in quite some time. That's a conversation on the outside. What did you tell your team in the locker room before they hit the field?
You know, I told them, hey, at the end of the day, it's nothing about who we're playing. It's all about us.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
On the other sideline, Chris Peterson in his 8th year with the Broncos just coached his 100th game last week against BYU. Only 11 losses in his career, and 3 have come this season. Time for the opening kickoff, brought to you by Bud Light. Here we go. Boise State won the toss. They have deferred, so Colorado State will open with the football first. The Broncos in the white jerseys and orange pants. First time they've worn that combo since last year against Wyoming. And Thomas Kaufman, second in the Mountain West in kick return yard average on the season. Beautiful night in Fort Collins and a big one in the Mountain West. We are underway at Hughes Stadium. Kaufman lets this one go through the end zone, and Colorado State will start at the 25-yard line. Well, let's take a look at tonight's Sonic QB profile. Garrett Grayson started slow, but he has heated up for the Rams, throwing 10 of his 14 touchdowns in the last 4 games.
Been really impressed with the way Grayson has come on, and the coaches told us that they're really happy with the way he's been playing, but this is going to be a very big test for him here tonight.
They started on the ground to Capri Bibbs, and he gets across the 25 and pushed back to the 28-yard line. Pickup of 3 on the play. Well, center Weston Richburg took the vocal leadership role on this Colorado State offense. He's the starting center as we look at the Colorado State starting lineup, and you just saw Bibbs tied for first in the country with 12 rushing touchdowns. The man he's tied with is Jay Ajayi on the other sideline for Boise State. On second down, Grayson gets rid of it to Charles Lovett, and he gets knocked out of bounds at the 32-yard line. That's short of a first down. Ben Weaver on the stop.
You'll see that Colorado State will run a lot of motions. That time they ran some fly motion. That puts a lot of stress on the defense about getting lined up and being assignment sound. Colorado State likes to do a lot of window dressing, something we've seen historically the Boise State Broncos do.
3rd and 1 for Colorado State. 37% on the season. Bibbs finds a hole, and he has the first down. 8-yard pickup for Capri Bibbs.
Power is about the most basic high school football play you can get. Double teams, play side, pull the backside guard. That time a great job on that right side of that offensive line. Boise's got to do a good job of being able to stop that tonight because the Rams will run it all night.
Hansley takes the toss, and Hansley across the 45 to the 48-yard line. That's Joe Hansley. Like to give him some space, and he gets the job done there. Boise State defensive lineup. DeMarcus Lawrence is an absolute beast. 17 career sacks. Redshirt freshman Ben Weaver earned a starting job in late September, and he now leads the team in tackles. And Brian Douglas, a ball hawk defensively, has 4 interceptions on the year. Leads the team. He took 1 back for a touchdown. 2nd and 4 for the Rams. Grayson throws, and the pass at the 40-yard line is caught. And that's the freshman Rashard Higgins for another Colorado State first down.
For a true freshman, Rashard Higgins has a ton of potential. He's 6'2", 180 pounds, still raw and green, but has been their leading receiver. He's been inconsistent at times, but there he comes up with a big grab. Leads them in receptions and receiving yards. The true freshman out of Mesquite, Texas. This is a pistol look. They like to run zone.
That's the 3rd down back, Donnell Alexander, and he finds some room. Colorado State has 3 different backs that can beat you. You've seen Bibbs and Alexander. They also have Chris Woke.
Offensive coordinator Dave Baldwin told us coming into tonight that it was very important for them not only to mix it up and stay balanced, but to be able to control the line of scrimmage. So far on this first drive, Andrew, that O-line is doing just that up front.
On 1st and 10, Grayson over the middle. The pass is caught at the 32. That's Higgins again, but he's tripped up for a short gain. Rashard Higgins does not lack self-confidence. He likes to call himself Hollywood. Garrett Grayson told us yesterday that the first time Higgins came on campus, he said to his quarterback, "Just call me Wood."
Well, here they are in pistol again. They will sometimes motion out of that and go into an empty backfield.
Grayson has time, but the pass is incomplete. He was looking for his tight end, Crockett Gilmore. But to your point, Aaron, the offensive line early on for Colorado State's done a good job.
And it's been important to them. And Boise State, of the things that they do defensively, getting to the quarterback is one of them. They've got 20 sacks on the year, but you got to give credit to the Rams. They've only given up 8 so far. So a key for Boise State tonight is going to be able to get some pressure and play well on third down like we've got here.
Big third down play here, 3rd and 6 for Colorado State.
Draws and screens are great in this field position.
Grayson on the draw, following Aaron Taylor's playbook, and a first down for the Rams. Ben Weaver on the stop after a 9-yard gain.
As an offensive lineman, this is what you absolutely love, because the defensive linemen have their ears peeled back and they're trying to get upfield, but what they do is they run out of their rush lanes, and if you can't stay in your rush lanes and have lane integrity, that's exactly what happened. Great play call and execution that time by the Rams.
Rams into the red zone, 68% scoring touchdowns this season. They swing one out to the far side of the field to Higgins. That's his 3rd catch already, and he's knocked out hard by Darian Thompson, but 8 more yards for the Rams.
That was just a smoke route. Pre-snap communication.
And tonight's red zone being brought to you by Verizon. Colorado State has scored points 24 out of 28 trips this year.
It's going to be important for them when they get down here to be able to get 7 points and touchdowns. Boise can put some up, so the Rams need to do that as well.
On 2nd and 2, this is the senior Woke. Check that, it is Bibbs, and he has another Colorado State first down.
Been really impressed with the play of Capri Bibbs. Here they go, Colorado State running the hurry up.
Right back to Bibbs at the 5 and falls forward to the 4 on 1st and goal.
And Andrew, that time we saw them run the same exact play back to back. That's that same power play we saw them convert that first down on. It's a very basic play, but very effective. But those last 2 times, Boise State did a better job defending it. Maybe look for some play action down here on 2nd down.
And don't forget about Bibbs as it knows for the end zone, tied for 1st in the country with 12 rushing touchdowns. 10:25 to go, opening quarter. It's 2nd and goal for the Rams. Bibbs wrapped up. Tyler Horn got a hold of Bibbs at the line of scrimmage.
Boise State is getting penetration on this drive. They're starting to take back that control on the offensive line. You see, when you play downhill as a defensive unit, good things are going to happen. That's the best way to be able to take advantage of a team that likes to run, is play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Big third down, buddy.
14th play of the drive. On this drive, Colorado State 2 for 2 on third downs. Another one here. Grayson flushed out, and he's sacked. Brought down by Tyler Horn. Back-to-back huge plays defensively for the junior out of Meridian, Idaho. An 8-yard loss.
We talked about Boise State's ability to be able to get pressure. Tyler Horn just stays alive. It's turn back protection, but the right tackle doesn't come down and lets him split that B gap. That's just being poor assignment sound football on the offensive line that time, and a great play by Boise to force the field goal.
So now Jarrett Roberts on for a 29-yard field goal. And Roberts now 12 out of 13 on the year. The kick is good. A lengthy drive results in 3 points for the Rams.
College football on CBS Sports Network is brought to you by DQ, the home of fan food, not fast food. By Quicken Loans, for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. And by Sonic. Sonic Super Crunch chicken strips are juicy and crunchy.
Cam the Ram, the official mascot at Colorado State, and the Rams out to a 3-0 lead after a 15-play drive resulting in the Roberts field goal. Derek Thomas back deep to receive the kickoff from Roberts. Low kick, Thomas lets it bounce at the 4, scoops it up, and now he's off across the 15. And he gets across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Jason Oden on the stop for the Rams. Our Our Sonic QB profile, it is Grant Hedrick making just his second career start. He's a better runner than Joe Southwick. 5 rushing touchdowns, is second on the team. See what the game plan will be. It'll be an interesting chess match because Hedrick, a better runner, as we just said, but Colorado State defensively allows 310 passing yards per game. And the ball is loose. A fumble on the first play from scrimmage. Colorado State signaling they have it. The officials trying to separate the pile. And it's Colorado State football. Boise State had 4 turnovers last week against BYU, and on their first play from scrimmage, they cough it up again.
The one thing that has really been the Achilles heel of the Boise State Broncos has been protecting the football. They run a zone read. Grant Hedrick, who's used to being able to run that, it's just the mesh point. Ajayi thinks he's taking the ball. There's some miscommunication between him and Hedrick. They've got to be able to sort that out. That is a base play for this Boise State offense and a critical turnover, giving the Rams the football in the red zone.
And Shaquille Barrett on the recovery. We talked about him off the top of the broadcast tonight. Such an impact player. Now Grayson going end zone. Incomplete. Pass hung up there. He was looking for Joe Hansley. Brian Douglas broke it up.
Good job by Brian Douglas that time. Coming over there and being aggressive and attacking the football once it's in the air. And that's the second time we've seen a football hit the hands of a Colorado State receiver and him not come down with it. Joe Hansley, usually a sure-handed receiver.
Donnell Alexander on the carry. A 6-yard pickup on the play, but Chris Peterson said after the 4 turnovers last week, you had no chance to win. When you turn the ball over that many times, it's something they worked on throughout the week in practice, and obviously it's been a fundamental they've focused on throughout the entire year. But they have a -1 turnover margin on the season coming into the game, so now -2. That is not Boise State football.
And when they're on the road, it's been -6. They've only forced 1 and turned it over 7 times, now 8.
Bibbs got tripped up by Lawrence, but was still able to plow forward before Dante Dion brought him down.
And to your point, Andrew, particularly when you're on the road, you have to be able to generate some takeaways, and that's been really problematic for this Boise State team. The offense on their first play of the game, putting their defense in a precarious position. Last time the Rams couldn't convert down here on first down and goal, they've got to be able to find a way to get a touchdown after the turnover.
Bibbs trying to push his way to the 5-yard line, and he does. Gets just across, and that'll bring up 2nd and goal.
That's that power play again. They love to pull their backside guard, number 75, Brandon Haynes, and get some double teams on the front side of that offensive line by number 70, Weston Richburg, Jordan Greger, number 64, and Jared Beard, number 78.
Referee tonight is Kevin Marr. He wants to reset the play clock. And now it's ticking with 7.5 to go in the first quarter. Colorado State trying to convert off the turnover by Boise State. Bibbs to the 5 and to the 3-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and goal. A little extracurricular after between Vallejo and Higgins mixing it up.
And that's really one of the things that Colorado State likes to do, is to be able to find some creases for number 5 Bibbs. But Boise State and their defense being a little chippy, I like that. They have to be able to do something to get some mojo back. That was a great way that they got pressure on their last big 3rd down to force the field goal. This defense needs to be able to find a way to make another play here.
Bibbs behind Grayson on 3rd and goal. 5 on the play clock. They give it to Bibbs. Cuts back and in. Touchdown. Capri Bibbs, his 13th rushing touchdown of the season. That's tops in the country.
Andrew, Boise State knew that one of the critical things for them to do, and take a look at this formation that we've got going on down here. They'll do that from time to time on PATs to be able to test. Boise, if they see what they like, they'll run a trick play. If not, they'll just line up and run a regular PAT. But fast starts have been the thing that the Broncos haven't been able to do, and it's cost them. It's cost them here again in this game.
38th straight consecutive point after attempt is good for Jarrett Roberts. Colorado State cashes in. Off the botched handoff, Shaquille Barrett fell on the football, and Bibbs with his 13th rushing touchdown. Well, last week in Hawaii, Capri Bibbs scored 3 rushing touchdowns on a career-high 33 carries, 137 yards. His second straight 3-touchdown game. What a story he's been for the Rams, and he is this week's Phillips 66 Mountain West Athlete of the Week, and now we've updated it. 7 rushing touchdowns in the last 3 games, 13 on the season to lead the country. And so far tonight, 9 carries for 27 yards.
Talked about at the open how important it was for Colorado State this win would be to kind of change the perception of this program. I think Boise's getting the message loud and clear so far in this first quarter.
Bad job by Jarrett Roberts as his kickoff bounces out of bounds, and our first penalty flag of the day.
Kickoff out of bounds. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
We'll see if Boise State can get on track. Capri Bibbs has put the Broncos in a 10-0 hole here at Hughes Stadium in Fort Collins. We're back in a moment.
Adam Zucker in New York. Oklahoma State jumping out to a big lead in Lubbock. Clint Shelf to Jeremy Seaton on 4th and goal. 28-10 in a meeting of one-loss Big 12 teams. Andrew and Aaron, who picked Texas Tech, I believe?
I did. Man, I'm telling you what, Texas Tech is only 1-7 in November in the last couple years, and a big reason why they're struggling in this game in all years because of turnovers.
Oklahoma State trying to win for the 5th straight time in that series. 1st and 10 for the Broncos at the 35 following a penalty, the kickoff out of bounds. Ajayi nowhere to go. Corey James brings him down. Let's take a look at the Boise State offense. Travis Averill making his first career start because of the injury to Reese Odiambo, and we just saw Ajayi's rush for over 100 yards in 3 straight games. Lightning fast pace for this Boise State offense as Hedrick's first pass is complete to Holden Huff.
Tackling and preventing yards after the catch is something that Colorado State wanted to be able to do. Here's a big first 3rd down. We showed you in the open what Hedrick did on his first 3rd down against BYU. What can he do here against the Rams? Showing press coverage.
52% on the season. That's 8th in the country. And the pass is complete to Boldevine for a first down. And the big fella knocking over defenders into Colorado State territory. A 14-yard pickup before DeAndre Elliott finally caught up to him.
Boldevine, such a big target. He's 6'4", 220 pounds. Coaches tell us that he's getting better. That time Colorado State showed press and then backed off. Boldevine was able to take advantage of that space underneath.
Play action to Ajayi, looking deep for Miller. He's got it at the 25-yard line and pushed out of bounds at the 22 by Tyree Simmons. A 26-yard hookup between the roommates, Hedrick and Miller.
Not sure if that was a busted coverage or Shaq Bell fell down, but nobody should be able to run that free in the defensive backfield. But Matt Miller, leading receiver on this team and best all-around player, comes up with a big catch as we have a reverse here. Boise State giving the ball to Shane Williams-Rowe, who gets around to the outside before finally getting tackled at the 18-yard line.
Aaron Taylor on the play-by-play. Kevin Pierre-Louis makes the stop. You can't even slow down a second when Boise State is on offense. It's go, go, go.
And that's the thing. You and I had to adjust up here on that last play because of the tempo, and that's why teams, and particularly Boise State, like to do it, because of the stress it puts on, because it's so out of the ordinary.
That exciting play you just called went for 4 yards. It's 2nd down and 6. Ajayi trying to get it to the outside, has some room. Ajayi's free. Touchdown, Boise State. An 18-yard touchdown run, and now once again Ajayi is tied for the lead in the country after Bibbs scored his 13th earlier in the quarter.
Rolling on the field. The runner stepped out of bounds at the 2-yard line. First down.
Whoa, they'll take another look at this one.
Colorado State's defense just loses contain.
That appears to be a good call. He did step out, so just a 16-yard gain, not the 18-yard touchdown.
And you wonder if him holding the ball up and celebrating a little.
Timeout. Colorado State, their first of the half.
See him upset with himself, and I think he should be. You wonder, as he held that ball up, maybe celebrating a little prematurely, he lost track of maybe where his feet were.
One of the officials signaled touchdown. It was the trailing official.
30 seconds.
Had stepped out, and here's another good look at it.
I don't know, right there.
I see
his left foot. I see green in there. You look at it right there.
The replay official tonight is Judson Howard.
It's interesting, Andrew, with the naked eye in real time, I didn't think he came close to stepping out. Certainly that's close. That's a great look at it right there as we zoom in. There's grass in between the sideline and his cleat.
Well, they're going to set it at the 2. 1st and goal with 4:21 to go in the first quarter. Hedrick cuts it back, and he takes it in for the touchdown. Grant Hedrick's 6th rushing touchdown of the season, and a very important drive for Boise State as they put points on the board with 4:15 to go in the opening quarter.
Excellent response by this Boise State team on the road. They knew that they needed to start fast, and here Boise State showing you a little bit of formation. Both of these teams use a lot of window dressing and make sure that they're going to try and stress you in terms of your line.
And now Dan Goodale, the kicker, is lining up to take the extra point. Originally, Matt Miller was in shotgun formation, and the extra point is good. Don't blink in this game between Boise State and Colorado State. Fast moving all over the field. It looked like Ajayi took it in for his 13th rushing score. They put him down at the 2, and the backup QB takes it in. It's 10-7.
Back in Fort Collins, QB Grant Hedrick and the Broncos trailed by 3, and the Boise State head coaches had no worries about Hedrick's preparation when he came in for the injured Joe Southwick 2 weeks ago, partly because he's a coach's son, but also because of the way QB's coach Jonathan Smith prepares his quarterbacks throughout the week. Now, instead of using a grease board with X's and O's, he uses these specially marked dominoes to go over different plays and looks in one-on-one meetings. And offensive coordinator Robert Prince told us earlier this week that is as close to the real thing as it gets with those mental reps. And Andrew, it seems to be working here tonight. They didn't have to change up their playbook at all for the backup.
Thank you, Lauren. No doubt an impressive drive and a much-needed drive for Boise State after falling behind 10-0. But here's Donnell Alexander with some room on the kick return. And Alexander is dragged down at the 38-yard line by Mercy Maston. A 62-yard return for the sophomore Alexander.
I've been so impressed with the way both of these teams have come out and responded. You can see there, Alexander didn't know whether he wanted to come out. Great job shaking the tackler in the open field right there, and finally gets brought down. But again, excellent field position for the Rams, who respond in their own right after a nice drive by the Broncos.
Colorado State's done a tremendous job this season on special teams, 21st in the country in kick return average, and that is going up after that big return from Alexander. Great field position for the Rams on 1st and 10. Grayson to Higgins. He's got a seam, a first down and more. Knocked out at the 21-yard line. Let's go back to New York. Adam Zucker with an update.
All right, Andrew, thank you. Opening drive for the Noles against Miami. 13 plays, 72 yards. Devontae Freeman gets the touchdown. And y'all tell Lauren to snag one of those Z dominoes for me.
Aaron's got the market cornered on Domino's Pizza.
Oh, wow.
1st and 10 following the big play to Higgins. 3:45 to go in the opening quarter. Grayson feeling the pressure, and he is brought down. Gabe Perez, the true freshman, on the stop for the Broncos.
Pretty good protection that time. Perez just falls back in at the bottom of your screen over the left tackle. The blitz gets picked up. Grayson takes the turn off and run, but keeping his field position, he falls back off and makes the tackle as you should.
No gain on the play. Gilmore goes in motion with 8 on the play clock. It's another play action. Grayson in trouble and just dumps it off to Alexander. And he's out at the 20-yard line, pushed out by Jeremy Ioane, who is week to week with an undisclosed injury, but obviously out there tonight, a good sign for the Boise State defense.
And the Colorado coaches just called him Hair. The safety with Hair, because he was so easy to spot on film, and you're right. That was a good job there. And great job by Grayson that time, eluding the pressure, extending the play. I think Grayson has a little bit more ability and mobility with his legs than he lets on.
3rd down here for Colorado State on the inside handoff. Kevon Cartwright, the tight end, on the carry.
And that's just one of the many wrinkles that offensive coordinator Dave Baldwin will try and do. They've got those 2 big tight ends, Kevon Cartwright and Crockett Gilmore. But the way they've been moving the football, when you're down here inside the red zone, I think with the success that you've had, trust your offensive line up front.
Five out of 9 on 4th downs this year. It's a 4th down and 1. And it's Woke, and I don't think he got it. Pushed back at the line, and the Boise State offense runs on the field. A 2-yard loss. Colorado State rolls the dice, and they come up short on 4th down.
They took too long to get the play off. They were up there way too long. Boise State, see penetration off that right side. And who's there? DeMarcus Lawrence, number 8 among those. Crashing inside the tight end. Beats the guy that just made that play, Kevon Cartwright. We talked about DeMarcus Lawrence and tackles for loss. That was a huge one for his defense.
And you saw Jonathan Brown there on the sideline. He's back for the first time since suffering a knee injury in the opener against Washington. It's Ajayi on the carry as we tick under 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Boise State has gotten off to slow starts this year. Last week against BYU, they had only 37 yards in the first quarter and 1 first down. And it looked like they were on that pace again, falling behind 10-0. But now it's Ajayi with some room, and the Boise State offense has come to life since falling behind 10-0.
Yeah, and what they're doing a good job of mixing up running in between the tackles. But I think they like their speed against Colorado State speed, because several times they've been attacking them on the outside edge on the perimeter and creating some big creases for Ajayi to cut up inside.
3rd down and 1. Hedrick on the play action, and it's dropped. Connor Peters had the first down and couldn't hold on to the football.
Wasn't the most accurately thrown football, a little bit low. Hedrick, pretty good passer on the run, but hits him right in the hands. Connor Peters, De La Salle Spartan, couldn't come up with it.
So Boise State brings the punt unit on. They use 2 punters. This is redshirt freshman Sean Whale. You'll also see Trevor Harmon. Last week, Whale had a career-long 62-yarder against Hawaii. Joe Hansley is back deep for Colorado State. Low kick, and this is a good one. It's going to get a nice Boise State roll, and it's still going all the way to the 12-yard line. A 69-yard punt for Whale.
That's the offensive coordinator, Dave Baldwin, right there, and he told us that they've got something here at Colorado State they call the 12% rule, which basically is that no greater than 12% of the offensive plays should be negative and result in a turnover, a sack allowed, a drop pass, or a penalty. They found when they back-tested that 91% of the time they won ball games if they adhered to the 12% rule, Andrew.
It is a good little math equation to keep you honest on offense, as Hansley again takes it off the sweep and gets to the 18-yard line before Darian Thompson knocked him down. And it's a thing that in your offensive meetings you can really focus on week to week.
Yeah, and I mean, those are things that kill offenses, but it's very rare that I've seen that people actually put metrics or numbers to it. But sacks, turnovers, penalties, dropped footballs, and missed opportunities for an offensive team. And when you consider
Bibbs on 2nd down and 4, Ioane chases him down.
And when you consider that you only get about 12 opportunities on offense per game, catching those footballs and not getting sacks and not having turnovers and penalties are extremely important.
Well, that brings up 3rd down and 2, and the quarter could run out. And Grayson will let it run out.
That is the end of the first quarter.
Thrilling start to this one at Hughes Stadium at the end of one. Colorado State has a 10-7 lead on Boise State. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Well coordinated with the mustache as we're back in Fort Collins, and the hometown Rams have a 10-7 lead on Boise State. Well, this is just the 3rd meeting between these two schools, and Boise State has just dominated the first two, winning 63-13 2 years ago and 42-14 last year. And you see the total yards. That's been a motivating factor throughout the week for Colorado State head coach Jim McElwain. He's made it clear to his team that they have just been dominated in these two games. Now, 3rd and 2 to start the second quarter. The pass is batted down, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Looked like Tyler Horn got a hand on it, and what a first half so far for Tyler Horn.
Both of these defenses, Andrew, have stepped up on these last two series, both of them forcing the opposing offenses to go 3 and out.
That'll bring on Hayden Hunt to punt, and back deep is Shane Williams-Rhodes for Boise State. Hayden with a low kick. Williams-Rhodes takes a big hop, fields it at the 34, gets away from one. He's got very elusive speed, and Williams-Rhodes out at the 47-yard line after a 46-yard punt.
And this is one of the things I think that when you watch a football game, they talk about hidden yardage. Remember, when Boise State punted, they had that tremendous punt on the front end. Their defense comes out. They get a 3 and out. Now they're starting their next successive drive at midfield, whereas Colorado State had to start theirs all the way back up.
So Grant Hedrick leads the Boise State offense back out onto the field, trailing by 3. Hedrick throws incomplete. He was gunning for Gabe Linehan on that, and interesting to see just how much Hedrick will throw in this football game. As we mentioned earlier, the Colorado State pass defense has not been good this year. That was his 5th attempt of the game. Ajayi at midfield. And Ajayi finds some more room before Tyree Simmons drags him down from behind. But that's good for a Boise State first down.
Great job that time of using Ajayi's vision, just cutting the ball backside. They pull the backside tackle, and he just turns and breaks it to the right and basically runs where they're not. He's a very good open field runner.
Hedrick back to the air, and the pass is incomplete. He was looking for Jake Hardy and Bernard Blake on the coverage for Colorado State. Blake was a game-time decision with a foot injury, but good enough to go in this big game tonight in the Mountain Division of the Mountain West.
Colorado State needs to stiffen up against the run. Controlling the line of scrimmage was something that they wanted to do, and they're not having success so far in this game doing that.
Hedrick feeling pressure, and the pass is batted down. 4 straight incompletions for Grant Hedrick now. Kevin Pierre-Louis on the coverage for the Rams.
This time they only rush 4, but they're able to get pressure off the play action and the boot action. Corey James, a strong side linebacker, who will come down and rush off the edge, was right there in the face, and that is what forced the throw to be off target.
3rd and 10. Pressure coming from Barrett. Hedrick steps up and gets away with it, and Hedrick falls forward for a first down. Heads up play by Grant Hedrick, an 11-yard gain.
Doesn't do you any good to get good upfield pass rush if you get out of your lanes. Lane integrity is so important tonight, and so far we've seen both defenses get out of those rush lanes and pay for it.
Ajayi on first down, running right, cuts inside at the 25 and taken down at the 24-yard line. And you're seeing why Hedrick, even before Joe Southwick went down, was counted on each game for a package of plays. They love the way that he runs the football, and now he's got double duty, also throwing the football with Southwick out with the broken ankle.
One of the matchups I was looking forward to seeing in this game tonight was the strength on strength. Boise's rushing offense against Colorado State's rushing defense, which is only allowing 137 yards per game coming in tonight. But so far, it's been all Broncos up front controlling the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 3. Ajayi gets away from a couple, and Pierre Lewis stops him at the 20, but that's good for another Boise State first down. They average 27 first downs per game, which is 7th in the country.
Ajayi showing his patience tonight as a runner. This Colorado State defense, which usually flies around to the ball, not tackling very well so far in this first half.
Hedrick on 1st and 10, going end zone, caught, touchdown, Geraldo Boldevine. A 20-yard hookup between Hedrick and Boldevine, his 2nd touchdown of the season, and the Broncos have their first lead of the night.
Scoring and scoring quickly is something that the Broncos could do. Colorado State knew that they had to limit.
The previous play is under further review.
Knew that they had to limit the Broncos' big plays, and so far tonight, it's called that chunk yardage. Boise State is getting big chunks of yard in individual plays. That puts a lot of pressure on you on the back end. You got to make the team that you're playing against earn it. Colorado State's just simply not doing that.
Judson Howard, the replay official, wants to take another look. Did Boldevine maintain possession as he went down?
Not all the way through the catch. When he gets down, the ball hits the ground and moves a little bit in his hands, and the way that he had the football positioned in between his hands on the way down looks to be under control, but when he hits the ground, it seemed to be moving a little bit.
Well, it was ruled touchdown on the field, so Judson Howard, the replay official, would have to have enough evidence to overturn it. Pierre Lewis was on the coverage and applied the hit to Boldevine as he was going down to the ground.
He certainly is demonstrating complete control throughout the catch till he gets to the ground. But once he does hit the ground, the ball does move inside of his hands.
Earlier, they took a Boise State touchdown off the board, saying that Ajayi went out at the 2-yard line, and they're looking at it again.
He has possession to this point, but after he hits the ground, see it on the ground there moving. To me, Andrew, right there, it doesn't look like he does have possession and complete control of that football until he rolls back over.
Kevin Marr communicating up in the booth with Judson Howard, and I happen to agree with you, Aaron. I think they're going to take this 6 off the board.
And that's going to mean a very unhappy Chris Peterson, who's not going to be feeling any road love from the officials. There's all kind of movement in that ball once he hits the ground. He does not demonstrate possession all the way through the catch, although he did have possession on the way down to the ground.
Clean-shaven Jim McElwain watching, and Boldevine on the left of your screen looking up at the video board here at Hughes Stadium. Well, Kevin Marr has a decision.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Wow. I'm surprised by that, Aaron. It looked like Boldevine did not maintain possession as he went down the entire way, but the call on the field stands.
You have to wonder if maybe that's a makeup call for the one that they missed earlier. And they said Ajayi stepped out of bounds. He did have possession as he hit the ground, but not all the way through the catch, because that ball was squirting around.
So it's Hedrick's third passing touchdown of the season, and the extra point is good with 12:47 to go in the first half. Boise State up 14-10.
Adam Zucker in New York. Miami's up for a game. Stephen Morris to Alan Hearns. Tied at 7 between top 10s and Tallahassee. Andrew and Aaron, back to you.
Hurricanes 7-0 for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah, and they're in the driver's seat in the Coastal, so even if Florida State beats them, they could be a rematch in the ACC championship game. But the Hurricanes this year seem to play up or down to the level of their opponents, so maybe they'll give the Seminoles a game. Remember, they were 21 touchdown underdogs heading into this thing. Unbelievable for a top 10 rematch.
He's done a tremendous job with the Hurricanes. So following the touchdown that stood for Boldevine, it's a 14-10 Boise State lead. And back deep is Alexander with a 62-yard return. Not this time. Well, you just saw the studio update with Adam Zucker. They like to have fun in that CBS Sports Network studio, especially on Inside College Football. This was earlier this week in the spirit of Halloween. Aaron Taylor going under the name Arlen Scribbles.
Almost got that pigeon, too.
You know, is that acceptable behavior in Central Park in New York? I kind of feel like you might fit right in.
There's no question. I mean, people expect people to dive in the bushes and look for things.
Oh, boy. Now, you played it off well, man. Hey, you did play-by-play tonight. You can act. What can't you do?
Jack of all trades, master of none, my friend. 1st
and 10 for the Rams. And Bibbs in the backfield. They fake it to him. Grayson has some time, throws, and it's caught at the 41-yard line. Up to the 50 and spinning for Colorado State.
That's a huge play for Colorado State, because coming into this first drive right here, they'd only been averaging about 5 yards per play. They needed to be able to stretch this field a little bit. They run some play action, just find a wide open receiver out there on the sideline. That will force Boise State to back up a little bit. They hadn't had any success getting those big plays down the field. That's got to give them some confidence here early.
28-yarder to Kevon Cartwright as Bibbs is stopped in the backfield by Gabriel Perez. Couple of notes for Boise State defensively. Kyrie Marshall, who started the game, is out right now with a hand injury. We'll keep an eye on that. And also, Ricky Chongachu did not make the trip to Colorado State. The starting defensive tackle experienced symptoms of a concussion during practice this week, and Chongachu is not here for the Broncos defensively. So 2 guys on the line not there right now for Boise State. On 2nd and 11, they throw it back to Charles Lovett, and he's tripped up from behind by Tanner Vallejo.
The time Boise State ran a blitz, and that's a perfect play call into the blitz, but good tackling that time by the Broncos. But I'll tell you what, 33, Gabe Perez has already made his presence felt here a couple times tonight, playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Now here, Colorado State has an opportunity for a 3rd down, 3 and out. The last time they were on, they desperately need to be able to convert this, and here you see them moving 2 tight ends into the backfield. They'll do this when they want to use those tight ends in pass protection.
3rd down and 6. Grayson steps up, dumps it off for Gilmore, and he is stuffed at the 39-yard line. That is short of a Colorado State first down. Once again, it's Gabe Perez on the stop after a 5-yard connection.
And this is kind of no man's land where they've got the football here at the 38-yard line. Boise State drops 8, only rushes 3, throws the football to the check down to Gilmore. And Colorado State's got a decision to make. Too far to make a field goal, but remember, they went for it once on 4th down in the red zone and got stopped. Can they get it done here?
It would be about a 54-yard field goal. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 1. Bibbs around the left side, and a first down for Colorado State. Running behind the tackle, Sambrelo, and the left guard, Haynes, and a first down for the Rams.
Love that play call, but what I loved more was the execution. The time they got stopped on 4th down before, there was some indecision. They took too much time coming up to the line of scrimmage. This time they get up there, they line up, they run. Bibbs shows great patience, puts his foot in the ground, and gets north and south like good running backs do.
A lot of meat up front for the Rams. Sambrelo at 310, Haynes at 300 pounds. On the carry, it's Tyler Gray making the stop for the Broncos, bringing down Bibbs.
Been a very good mix of run, pass combinations. Colorado State being very balanced tonight, certainly running the football a little bit more than they've thrown it. But that's what they want to be able to do.
71 yards on the ground, 87 yards through the air for the Rams. It's Bibbs on 2nd down, has some room, and another first down. Smacked down again by Tyler Gray, but an 8-yard pickup moves the sticks for the Rams.
When I was getting ready for this game, watching film on number 5, Capri Bibbs was so impressive. He is a classic crease runner. He's patient, patient, patient. As soon as he sees a hole, he puts his foot in his ground and he gets north-south with a tremendous ability to be able to take the football to the house.
9:15 to go first half. Bibbs again. And he gets maybe a yard on the play. That's already the 15th carry for Capri Bibbs, and the coaching staff yesterday told us that they were looking at about 18 carries for the game for Bibbs, so they're riding him early in this one.
Riding him early and riding him hard. They like the guys that are behind him. Donnell Alexander's been typically their 3rd down and red zone back, so it wouldn't surprise me to see number 7 come in.
He's in there right now next to Grayson.
As we say.
Grayson steps up to get away from the pressure, tucks it in, and gets up too close to the 15-yard line. Let's go down to the field, check in with Lauren Gardner.
Well, Andrew, Boise State lost a big piece of their defense, and Kyrie Marshall, the senior, went off with an injury to his right hand earlier in the first quarter. He came back out with it wrapped up, and they were pretty creative on the sidelines with their resources. They had to cut off the thumb to that glove. They got it back on, wrapped it up. I asked him if he was okay. He gave me a thumbs up. We'll see if he comes back in.
All right, Lauren, 3rd down and 4. We'll keep an eye out for that with 8 minutes to go in the first half.
Man coverage up top.
Low snap. Grayson fields it. Pump fakes now over the middle, and it's incomplete. Good coverage on the play by Dante Dion.
Dante Dion was a player that BYU was able to take advantage of on some deep balls, but he was aggressive here this time, and man-to-man coverage just does a good job of reacting and shadowing to the receiver and almost picked that football off. Got to be aggressive out there as a cornerback, and Dion was just that on that last one.
Well, it was lined up as a field goal, but now Colorado State with Joe Hansley taking the snap. Hansley running right on the fake, and Hansley has the first down. It's going to be close, but it looks like he's got it. Tanner Vallejo made the tackle close to the sticks, but it's good for a Colorado State first down.
I love this play call by the Rams. They know that a win tonight puts them in the driver's seat for the Mountain Division, for the Mountain West Conference Championship. We talked about them changing the culture, but also changing the perception of this program. The perception that they're giving now is that they're here to win tonight.
First down and 10 at the 11-yard line. Bibbs running left inside the 5. Darian Thompson on the tackle, but 7 more for the Rams on this drive. They can get a first down without scoring a touchdown.
That last play seemed to have shell-shocked Boise State. See a lot of their defenders with their hands on their hips. Very important for the Rams to be able to capitalize this, get a touchdown, and take the lead against a pretty good Boise State team.
They stack receivers left and right. Bibbs next to Grayson on 2nd and 4. It is Bibbs, and it's DeMarcus Lawrence, not fooled at all for Boise State.
Talked about that stack formation. That's something that Colorado State hadn't shown at all so far this year. That was one of the wrinkles that they wanted to be able to put in against this Boise State team. That time they chose to run out of that formation. They will throw, and they like to run screens, draws, and delays down here in the red zone, as well as inside zone and power.
Big spot here for the Rams on 3rd and 6. Again, they can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. Grayson looking right, throws to Lovett. He dives for the end zone. Touchdown! What an effort by the 5'8", 182-pounder Charles Lovett out of Tampa, Florida. His first touchdown of the season.
Yeah, we just was giving praise to Dante Dion, but that time he missed a tackle, and tackling is one of those things that the Broncos wanted to make a point of emphasis coming into this game. It's got to give credit to the Rams for being aggressive and executing, particularly down here in the red zone.
Roberts on for the extra point, and the kick is good. What a drive by Colorado State. With 6:20 to go in the first half, they've regained the lead. They converted 2 fourth downs on that drive, including a fake field goal, and then Lovett dives to cash in. Fans having a good time in Fort Collins. The Rams out to a 3-point lead. This Boise State defense has struggled against the pass this year. 93rd in the country in passing yards allowed.
Well, let's take a look at the route combination that Colorado State ran. Keep your eye on number 4, Charles Lovett. Presses the safety. Dion comes off of that, as he should. He just misses the tackle. But that's pretty good execution by Colorado State in a perfectly thrown and located football by the quarterback, Garrett Grayson.
2 for 2 on 4th downs during that drive, and the Rams back in front. Such a big game here at Hughes Stadium. Colorado State has not won 3 games in a row since 2009. As Thomas on the kick return, and he gets across the 25-yard line. 6:12 to go, first half. Rams up by 3.
Hey, Adam Zucker here in New York. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, conference games fueled by in-state hate. Would Miami be able to hang with Florida State in a meeting of undefeated top 10 teams? Little brother maintaining the state throne against big brother in East Lansing. And Carl Pelini's little brother, Bo, having a prayer answered in Lincoln, Nebraska in the finish of the day. Now back to Andrew and the one, the only, Arlen Scribbles Jr.?
Oh, yeah. He would be in overalls all the time if that was acceptable. As we take a look at the Mountain Division standings, just a huge game in the Mountain West. Utah State, you saw them beat Hawaii earlier tonight right here on CBS Sports Network. They're at 4-1, but Boise State already beat Utah State, and Colorado State plays the Aggies later this month. So the winner of this one tonight controls their own destiny in the Mountain Division. Again, trying to get into the first Mountain West Championship game December 7th on CBS.
Here you see Boise starting to run some tempo. The strength of this Bronco offense is their ability to be able to run the football, but they're having a lot of success on first down, which ends up showing up on 3rd down.
Derek Thomas in the backfield. He cuts inside across the 30-yard line and tackled at the 32 by Curtis Wilson.
Great second effort that time by Derek Thomas, but remember, Andrew, when we talked to the coaches, all the fumbling issues that they had were on second effort type plays. You love the effort, but you got to be smart. If you're a lot of people around the football, go ahead and drop a knee to live them to play another play.
Can the Colorado State defense force a 3 and out? It's 3rd and 4 for the Broncos.
Pressure off the top.
Hedrick gets rid of it though, and the pass is caught by Williams Rhodes. Down the sideline, and the little guy goes the distance. A 68-yard touchdown. Shane Williams Rhodes is 5'6", but he is a big part of this Broncos offense as Boise State goes back on top.
Such an explosive playmaker. We talked about his ability to be able to explode and make plays, and this is the very thing that Colorado State wanted to be able to avoid, was giving up big plays to this powerful offense. And Williams Rhodes showing you what that speed can do. Speed can kill.
Now there's a stoppage on the field before the extra point, and they might want to take a look just to make sure that Williams Rhodes stayed in bounds.
Ruling on the field is touchdown.
To me, it looked like he did. Again, he was awfully close to the sidelines.
It's that step right there.
And maybe that one with the left foot as he was cutting off that inside foot. But from both of those angles, again, both shots, it looked like Williams Rhodes was able to stay in bounds.
It was ruled a touchdown on the field. So there would have to be enough evidence up in the replay booth, led by replay official Judson Howard, to overturn it.
Seeing green in space. It looks good to me. And man, what a play call by Boise State into a corner blitz. And Williams Rhodes, with his first catch of the night, comes up with a big one. Perfectly run wheel route. And just took over with his speed.
Such a big part of this offense. Had a monster game against Utah State, a career-high 13 receptions and a career-high 150 yards. Chris Peterson telling us that last year was more bubbles and fly sweeps for Shane Williams Rhodes, and now they do it all with this guy.
Well, he's a little bit older and he understands the offense a little bit more. He's got to be smarter when he's got the football in his hands. He's great in the open field, but dancing around a little bit against BYU caused a turnover. He's clean there. He's clean there. And he's clean. His foot's not all the way down yet. As he rolls through, he's clean. There's green all the way around that. That's a touchdown. And great execution. How about the throw by Grant Hedrick? I mean, that was on the money. And the difference between throwing a football that's near him or putting it on his guys is a touchdown.
Here comes the call.
After further review, the ruling on the field state. Touchdown, Boise State.
A 68-yard touchdown, and for Grant Hedrick, he came into the game with 2 passing touchdowns on the season. He's already got 2 in the first half tonight.
Well, you live by the blitz and you die by the blitz. And Hedrick, kind of the cool, steady Eddie quarterback, stands in there tough against pressure and delivers a BB.
Dan Goodale on for the extra point with 5:05 to go in the second quarter. And the kick is good, giving the Broncos a 4-point lead. Well, credit to Hedrick, who stood in there strong in the face of pressure, as we take another look at the touchdown.
Yeah, they're going to bring pressure here, and Williams Rhodes is just going to run a simple wheel route. This is about the most perfect play you can run into it because of how far away he is. The safety from being able to pick him up, and that's unfair to Trent Matthews, but that's the exact play that Matthews has to do is to get over there. But because it was a wheel route and Rhodes was able to get up the sideline, he got it. But look at the pressure and the courage to stand in there in that pocket tough and still throw the football accurately, even off your back foot.
That was Shaquille Barrett who laid the big hit on Hedrick, but the junior hung in there, and now the Broncos back in front in this seesaw first half in Fort Collins.
Got to give a little bit of love to 23 Derek Thomas, who was helping out on that pass protection, that play as well.
Colorado State will get the ball back with 2 timeouts in this first half. Thomas Kaufman back deep, and he's going to take a knee. Kaufman's second in the Mountain West, averaging 25 yards per kick return, but instead the Rams will start at the 25-yard line. Brings back out Garrett Grayson.
Well, the offense has really been the bright spot for Colorado State tonight and what it is they've been able to do and all season long. To take a look at what they've been able to do, extremely balanced, 188 total yards. There's still some time here in the second quarter. They need to be able to respond. This has been a heavyweight punch. They've got to be able to find a way to get some points on this drive.
Talk about balance, 94 on the ground, 94 through the air. Grayson just gets rid of this one as Robert Ash raced into the backfield to apply pressure.
Been really impressed with the defensive ends tonight by Boise, keeping contained. Everything breaks down on your defense when you lose contain, but Ash, because he stayed home and stayed in his rush lane, forced the errant throw and brings up 2nd and 10.
And Ash is getting a chance because, as we said, no Kyrie Marshall, no Ricky Chongachu right now for the Broncos. Alexander on the carry, and he gets across the 30. And you know, Boise State is a team that likes to rotate its defensive linemen, rotate its linebackers, and you wonder, with no Marshall and no Chongachu, how much they'll be able to do that the rest of the night.
And where that's going to show up is going to be in the 3rd and 4th quarters when you start to get your defense and your depth tested. We are at altitude here, and Colorado State will try and run the football downhill on you. And when you don't have the depth, it'll start to show up and hurt you late.
The Rams 5 for 10 on 3rd downs tonight. 3rd and 4 here. Grayson wants to throw. And he dumps it down. He's got a first down to Higgins. And now Higgins putting the moves on. Knocked out of bounds at midfield. A 19-yard pickup for Higgins before Darian Thompson finally caught up with him.
Keep your eye on Higgins right here coming across the screen. Great pickup of protection. Boise State blitzes off the top. Bibbs does a good job of picking him up, and Higgins does the rest on the shallow cross, and some great downfield blocking by Joe Hansley, mixing it up in there to get some extra yards.
Rams running a little tempo here as they get to the line, approaching 4 minutes to go in the first half. To Bibbs. Big block by Bibbs. That gives Grayson some time, but nowhere to throw, and now just gets rid of it. Well, Capri Bibbs did a good job of picking up Tyler Horn, and that allowed Grayson to throw it away.
The quarterback was out of the pocket. Ball made it beyond the line of scrimmage.
And that's what a running back should do, is be able to pick up pressure. Now, technique-wise, he's got to be able to keep his head up. You got to be able to get the guy on the ground, but that delay was just enough to give Grayson an attempt to extend that play and avoid the sack.
It was actually Tyler Gray that was coming hard, but a good job by Bibbs to fight him off. Now 2nd and 10. Alexander to the 45, still going, stays on his feet. Another Colorado State first down. 13-yard pickup for Alexander before Jonathan Brown tackled him.
Outside zones are about finding the creases. Keep your eye on Alexander. Gets the ball wide, starts to come downhill, and then just puts his foot in the ground. But again, missed tackles by this defense of Boise State cost him. Tyler Gray that time, 36, had him wrapped up. But because he missed that tackle, it allowed number 7, Alexander, to get the first down.
Bibbs gets across the 35-yard line, but Gabe Perez was able to trip him up. Seen a lot of Bibbs and Alexander, not much of the senior Chris Woke so far in this first half.
Yeah, and Chris Woke has been a big part of this offense for several years. But Capri Bibbs and Donnell Alexander bring something that Woke doesn't to the table, and that's crease speed, and we've seen that on display pretty early and often in this first half.
Bibbs has 51 yards rushing, Alexander 36 yards on the ground. Now Alexander goes out wide to the bottom of your screen. Grayson pump fakes to him. Nowhere to go, steps up, and he's tackled. Ball comes out at the 33-yard line. Boise State says they have it. Justin Taimatuia may have forced it, and the Broncos recover. Taimatuia is limping off the field. Tyler Gray is the man who fell on it for Boise State.
And Ty Matuia is the backup nose tackle that's playing for Ricky Chongachu that didn't even make it to the game. So if he goes down, that's going to be another D lineman and really affect the depth of that defense. But credit to Boise State back in, because that was a absolute coverage sack.
Broncos ball when we come back. Garrett Grayson with the fumble, 2:28 to go, and now Boise State has a chance to cash in before halftime as we take another look at the hit.
Grayson, you see the football right there. He doesn't have his hand over the point of it. It makes it very vulnerable. And 33, Gabe Perez comes in there late and punches that football out. You got to be able to put that thing away. 7th fumble on the year so far for Colorado State's a big one.
And now Boise State with 3 timeouts and 2:28 on the clock. Hedrick over the middle, pass is caught by Matt Miller, and he gets close to midfield. A 13-yard gain for the junior Miller.
And remember, Andrew, Boise State gets the ball to start the 3rd quarter, so a score here will give either of these teams the biggest lead so far in this game. There's been 4 lead changes. This is an important drive for the Broncos.
Ajayi on the carry, and he is stuffed at the 50-yard line. So many teams, it used to sound old now, but so many teams go to the 2-minute offense. Boise State's offense is the 2-minute offense.
And that really is one of the advantages as Boise takes a timeout.
They're first of the half.
And wants to talk about it.
First timeouts
in length
by the Broncos with 1:58 on the clock. And coming up at the half, the guys in New York will take a look at the Nissan Heisman Watch. How about Aaron's contenders?
Yeah, Marcus Mariota, what a great year he's had. But tonight, Jameis Winston, what a great job tonight. 161 yards, already thrown a touchdown, 23 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. And Johnny Manziel may be the single greatest player in college football, maybe the single guy that I would pay money to go and sit and watch play. Every time he's got the football in his hands, he can do something special. So any of those guys are having a great year. But how about Mike Evans, the wide receiver he's throwing the football to? There's a strong argument to say that he's among the best players, if not the best player in college football this year.
Manziel with that 73% completion percentage. All right, following the timeout, 2nd and 7 for the Broncos. Hedrick steps up, he's going to run. Cuts back to the 45 and spins forward. He is just short of a first down. Aaron Davis on the tackle.
Great get off that time by the defensive line of Colorado State, with Hedrick showing you what explosive legs can do.
On 3rd and 1, Ajayi to the outside. He's got the first down the sideline. Ajayi cuts back and falls at the 15. What a run for Jay Ajayi. A 30-yard gain, his longest of the game.
You've got to have somebody set the edge for your defense. Too many times tonight, Boise State's been able to get out to the edge. They need that corner, that outside linebacker, that defensive end to force Ajayi to cut back inside. That left side of that offensive line, led by Charles Leno, did an excellent job on that last play.
80 yards so far tonight for Ajayi, as Blake is slow to get up. Keep in mind, we told you earlier, he was a game-time decision with a foot injury, and now he hobbles off the field.
Blake's been banged up for a lot this year, had a lower extremity injury with the foot, had concussion earlier in the year.
His 1 interception this season came against A.J. McCarron of Alabama. Colorado State held their own against top-ranked Bama. They lost 31-6, but going to the 4th quarter, it was a 17-6 game. All right, following the injury timeout, 1st and 10, 1:19 to go. Hedrick looking end zone to Miller. Got it! And that's a touchdown, Boise State. The roommate took up. Hedrick to Miller. And the Broncos capitalize off the turnover.
Colorado State that time in man coverage. Miller just too good on that slot. lined up one-on-one on their nickelback, Jason Oden.
Now Miller is the holder for kicks, so he stays on to hold for Goodale. And the extra point is good. That is the third touchdown of the night for Grant Hedrick through the air. He also has one touchdown on the ground as we take another look.
Now remember, Bernard Blake left the play before, so here you have number 6, Jason Oden. Blake's just going to get up and shake him, or excuse me, Miller's just going to get there and shake him and run right past him. You can't be flat-footed as a defensive back, particularly when you're taking on a big and athletic 6'3", 222-pound Matt Miller. Boise doing a great job of trying to take advantage of some of those changes in the backfield. And again, it was that fumble by Garrett Grayson that set that up, and Boise State making it look easy going down the field and taking advantage, getting some points off the turnover. And
Miller and Hedrick have been roommates every single year at Boise State. So this is the third straight year they've been roommates, and you don't get a lot of reps always with the backup quarterback. In this case, Grant Hedrick, the backup for Joe Southwick. But just the fact that they live together, they're talking football all the time, and they were in sync on that scoring route right there to give the Broncos a 28-17 lead.
Quarterbacks and wide receiver and offensive line, it's about chemistry and communication.
Kaufman from his own end zone. And he just falls across the 15 to the 16-yard line. 2 timeouts for the Rams, 1:08 to go. What do you do here if you're Colorado State, keeping in mind Boise State gets the football to start the second half?
You have to be aggressive, but not so aggressive where you're taking chances and can turn the football over, because Boise State has shown that they can be able to score. You have a guy that can hit his head on the goalpost in Capri Bibbs, but with 2 timeouts and 2 tight ends, that create some mismatches in Crockett Gilmore and Kevon Cartwright. I'd look for those big tight ends to get the football here early on.
They hand it to Alexander, and Alexander with some nice moves for a Colorado State first down. Clock stops while they move the sticks. 1:01 to go.
Great job when you're running the football to be able to get a first down and stop that clock is a very advantageous position. They've got some options here.
Grayson to the air, and he finds one of his tight ends, Crockett Gilmore. And Colorado State races to the line, 44 seconds to go.
They've got to get a first down or get the football to the perimeter and get out of bounds here.
Another low snap. Grayson fields it, finds his freshman Higgins across midfield. First down, and the clock will stop as the sticks move, but he did not get out of bounds.
So it will start after they make their adjustments. Got to be able to get this play, maybe stretch the field here a bit.
Grayson steps up, and he falls across to the 44-yard line.
Boise State only rushed 3 that time. That's about the worst thing that you could have happen. It wasn't a sack, but it was only a 5-yard gain, and that's costing
the second of the half.
8 seconds on that play.
That was Robert Ash, again, who's seen a lot of playing time in this first half for Boise State due to the injuries to Marshall and Chongachu. And Colorado State had no choice but to call a timeout there. They now only have 1 remaining. If you look at their kicker, Jarrett Roberts, his career long is 49 yards. So that means they would have to get to the 32-yard line. Right now they're at the 45. So they need about 15 yards to feel good about Roberts going out there. He has never even attempted a field goal longer than 50.
You notice at running back they have Donnell Alexander down there. He's their 3rd down red zone specialist. What a lonely existence kickers lead.
And Jim McElwain makes it worse. He doesn't even call him Jarrett Roberts. He just calls him kicker. Grayson over the middle to Alexander. That's a first down. The clock will stop, but with 16 seconds left, they're going to have to get to the line in a hurry.
I think they should clock it here or run a quick play because the clock is ticking. They want to save that timeout.
Instead, they'll run the play. Grayson throws an out route to the 30-yard line. So do they have time for one more play?
Something quick to the outside edge. But if you do that, it doesn't really help you out. It gets you a little bit of a closer field goal. Right now, it's 47 yards, and the Rams, playing conservative, are going for the field goal.
Joe Hansley's catch got Colorado State to the 30. So now a 47-yard try. Boise State has 2 timeouts if they decide to ice the kicker. High snap. Roberts gets it away, and it is no good. Just short, and that is the end of the first half.
Man, if you clock it, then you can take another shot to the end zone. I don't know if Colorado State managed that at the end of the game, or excuse me, at the end of the half as well as they could have.
Tanner Hedstrom is the long snapper, and this one was high.
Job by the holder of being able to get that down, Hansley. But literally, this kick came up about 6 inches short.
Just the second missed field goal of the season for Jared Roberts. Boise State coach Chris Peterson is with Lauren Gardner.
Andrew, well, Coach, I think we all expected this to be a good one, but 4 lead changes in the first half. In your mind, what is this going to boil down to?
Well, we got to get some more stops. I think each defense is having a hard time slowing each other down, and so we got to play a little tighter defense.
Offensively, Grant Hedrick had 2 touchdowns in the air coming into tonight's game, 3 just here tonight. What's impressed you about him so far?
Well, he's a good player. He just got to make sure we settle down and don't make any, errors, blatant errors like the first fumble we have. We can stay away from that, we'll be okay.
Thank you very much, Coach.
No doubt, quite a recovery. Remember, Boise State fumbled the ball in its first play from scrimmage, but they go into the locker room with a 28-17 halftime lead. After the break, we'll send you back to our CBS Sports Network studio in New York for the Verizon halftime report. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Fame weekend at Colorado State. 6 new members, including former NFL players Bradley Van Pelt and longtime Steelers linebacker Joey Porter. The Rams have some work to do in the second half. They trail 28-17. Back with Aaron Taylor, I'm Andrew Catalon. You look at time of possession in the first half. Boise State had the ball for 8 minutes, and they scored 28 points. Grant Hedrick leading the charge. He had 3 touchdowns in the air and 1 on the ground.
Well, we knew that Boise State wanted to run the football, and that's certainly what they did. We knew Grant Hedrick wasn't going to throw it much, but when he did, he made it count. So let's take a look at tonight's Rolaids Rapid Relief performance. The bottom line, Andrew, he's only completed 7 balls, but the last 4, he was 4 for 4 for 116 yards and those 3 touchdowns you mentioned. He has not had a completion, only one completion, I should say, under 10 yards so far tonight. Colorado State has to be able to make Boise State work harder because, as you pointed out, they're scoring too many points in too little time.
Keep in mind, Boise State turned the ball over on its first play from scrimmage, but they certainly bounced back. As we take a look at some of the first half statistics, Colorado State has more total yards of offense. And you look at the time of possession, 21 minutes, doesn't mean anything with this Boise State offense. And the Broncos will get the ball to start the second half. Again, major implications in the Mountain Division in this game. The winner controls their own destiny moving forward, trying to get into the inaugural Mountain West Championship game.
You take a look at that single turnover that they have. That should really be 2 turnovers, because I think the big difference so far in this ball game tonight is when Colorado State was going for it on 4th down early on in this ball game, and Boise State had that stop. Those points that they didn't get have certainly been felt as they're down here now by 11 points to start the 3rd quarter, and Boise State getting this ball back.
Derek Thomas comes up to the 8-yard line to field the kickoff, and Thomas gets across the 30 for Boise State as we check in with Lauren Gardner.
Well, Andrew, I spoke with Jim McElwain, who was very proud of the effort his team gave there in the first half. When I asked him what they needed to do defensively after giving up 4 or 5 third downs to Boise State, he said there's really nothing specific. We need to limit those explosive plays and just do our job. When I asked him about the health of corner Bernard Blake, he said he's going to try and gut it out and play in this first series.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Blake with that foot injury. Didn't even think he would play tonight. He hobbled off late in that first half, so we'll keep an eye on Blake. Jay Ajayi needs just 3 yards to go over 1,000 for the season. It's a play action to Ajayi. Hedrick looking deep, and he has his man. Matt Miller at the 50 putting a move on, and Miller gets to the 40-yard line. A 27-yard gain on the first play of the second half.
Boise State is getting the matchups that they want. This time he's matched up on number 16, the free safety, Trent Matthews. Remember, Miller burnt him for a touchdown again on one-on-one coverage. Colorado State has to make an adjustment, maybe give him some help and bracket him.
Another play action. They throw to Boldevine. He gets to the 31-yard line. So 2 passes coming out of the locker room for Boise State offensively. They get 10 on that one.
Too many yards on those passes. Here they've run 2 plays in this second half, and they're already on the 32-yard line. This Colorado State defense has to find a way to make a play or get some stops.
Ajayi trying to get to 1,000 for the season. And based on the spot, he will. Jay Ajayi over 1,000 yards before Shaq Bell brought him down.
He's had an incredible year, and we talked to head coach Chris Peterson, who said aside from the fumbles, he's had an amazing year so far. He's got to be able to hold on to the football, particularly when you get closer to the goal line.
5th straight year, the Broncos program has produced a 1,000-yard rusher, and they go back to the air to Williams Rhodes. What a drive out of the gate here for the Broncos in the second half.
This was quarterback Grant Hedrick with a run-pass option. You see him going out to the outside. He's going to run this ball, but if he gets the look that he likes, he can turn up and throw it. That's exactly what he decides to do. That's the stress and pressure that this Boise State can put on you, because that's extremely hard to defend.
Turned into a 15-yard gain. 1st and 10 for the Broncos. Looking end zone to Miller, goes up and gets it. Touchdown, Boise State. Second touchdown of the game for Matt Miller. He's now got 4 on the year, and the Broncos march right down the field to go up 34-17.
Matt Miller's just been a mismatch all night tonight. Again, man-to-man coverage at the top of the screen. Number 19, Tyree Simmons, had inside leverage. Couldn't find a way to get it done. Number 2, having an outstanding start to the second half, and Boise State once again scoring almost effortlessly.
Matt Miller at 6'3", over Tyree Simmons at 5'11". 4 touchdown passes tonight for Grant Hedrick.
Football's a game of matchups. Here you see Tyree Simmons on Matt Miller. He's got inside leverage, but Miller just beats him over the top. And Miller's a tall guy, 6'3", and he uses all that height. But talk about Grant Hedrick and the location of that football. Perfectly placed up high where Matt Miller can go and catch it. At the football's highest point, he just simply outjumps Tyree Simmons.
Boise State has now gone over 30 points in 6 of their last 7 games. The only time they did not do it was last week against BYU. And now Matt Miller with 93 yards receiving on the night and 2 touchdowns. And the Broncos go up 35-17. And talking to head coach Chris Peterson and offensive coordinator Robert Prince this week, they told us they love Grant's demeanor. He's very even-keeled, mild-mannered, doesn't get too emotional. In a way, Robert Prince said his demeanor reminds him of Kellen Moore. And in a big game tonight on the road, Grant Hedrick has been very composed for Boise State. Well, last week against BYU, Dylan Lukart was ejected for targeting in the second half against the Cougars. Chris Peterson said he agreed with the call. But because of that ejection, Lukart had to sit out the first half tonight. So now they can release Dylan Lukart, and he's set to go for the Broncos, although he'll start the second half on the sideline here as Colorado State's Garrett Grayson takes the field for the Rams. Grayson throwing on first down. As a man, it's caught. And a first down for the Rams to Charles Lovett. Brian Douglas on the tackle for the Broncos.
Like the way Colorado State's responding, going through the air and getting a big chunky yard on first down. They already have the football to midfield. Again, when you can connect on those passes, that backs up the defense and starts to really open up that run game.
And a little tempo here for the Rams after the 24-yard pickup. Hensley goes in motion. They give it to Bibbs, trying to get around the outside. And he's tackled at the 47-yard line. For a little more on Dylan Lukart, let's go down to Lauren Gardner.
Well, guys, I spoke with the Broncos staff at the half about what Lukart had to do in the first half. He was not given a television to watch the game. He was on a stationary bike on and off to stay warm. Trainers were able to come in and update him on the game. He was updated by Jimmy Lake, the secondary coach, at the half.
And Lukart did go through pregame warm-ups as well, Lauren, so he was out there and then had to sit out, back out for the Broncos now. They turn to Bibbs on 2nd and 6. A 6-yard pickup for Capri Bibbs before Gabe Perez made another tackle for Boise State, and that was good for a first down for the Rams.
Yeah, Boise State had a run blitz on that time, and give credit to Grayson, who recognized that, made a check at the line of scrimmage, and then Bibbs did the rest. Again, finding some room to run, cutting backside.
That was the 20th carry for Capri Bibbs.
They like inside zone and boot out of this formation.
Grayson scrambling, chased out by Gray, and just throws it away.
Boise State, Andrew, the way that they've stayed home, every time that Grayson has turned his back to the line of scrimmage, they've tried to run play action or run boot. There has been a Bronco defender in his face. This time they brought pressure off the edge, and it was number 5, Dante Dion, that again, that pressure, Boise State setting the edge, forcing the incompletion.
Dion 8th on the team in tackles this season as the Rams go back to the ground with Alexander. He is wrestled to the ground. And once again, Tyler Horn having a big game for the Broncos defensively. He started the first 3 games of the year before Armand Nance took over, but last year Horn had 5 sacks, and with no Chongachu and Marshall right now, Horn getting a lot of run tonight against the Rams.
He's a pretty athletic and versatile player. He can 3 technique over the guard, 5 technique over the tackle, even play stud. Here you see some motion. Boise struggled to make plays on 3rd down. Let's see if they get themselves up the field here and they bring pressure.
3rd down and 8, and Grayson just throws it to the ground. Pressure coming from the Broncos, and that'll bring up 4th down.
If you need to make a play, one of the ways to do it is to be able to dial up some pressure. That time they were able to do it, and again, twice on this last 3 plays, Boise State sold out. And because of that pressure, Grayson wasn't able to find his intended receiver, and after the start of a nice drive, Colorado State's forced a punt.
Sophomore Robert Ash was the first one back there to force Grayson to throw it away as Hunt punts it away for the Rams. Williams Rhodes will let this one bounce into the end zone, and Boise State's offense will come back out onto the field with 10:59 to go in the 3rd quarter.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Icy Hot, America's #1 topical pain reliever. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your local Acura dealer.
Back in Fort Collins, Colorado at Hughes Stadium. It holds 32,500. There's been some talk about possibly building a new stadium on campus if they raise enough money. But right now, at Hughes Stadium, it's the Grant Hedrick show. What a night for Hedrick. Only 1 completion under 10 yards, and he's thrown 8 straight completions for the Broncos. He's going back to the air here, and now he's got 9 in a row to Boldavine, and he gets across the 30-yard line. We wondered in the open of our broadcast. Would Hedrick and the Boise State offense try to take advantage of Colorado State's passing defense? They've had a long year in the secondary for the Rams, 120th in the country in giving up yards, and the answer is yes. And Hedrick has done a masterful job leading this offense. Goes back to Williams Rhodes here down the sideline and out of bounds.
And where's Shaq Barrett been at? I mean, we talked about him in the open too. He has 7.5 sacks, but he's been awfully quiet tonight. On that first play to start this drive, Grant Hedrick showing you that he can get outside the pocket. That's been one of the things that Boise's offense has been able to do that Colorado State's hasn't.
Williams Rhodes is hit hard by Shaq Bell, who then helps him up.
They call him Baby Shaq. Good reason. Shaq Bell's 5'11", almost 200 pounds. Off the play action, but does a good job of fighting through the block of Geraldo Boldevine.
And Aaron, to answer your question, Shaquille Barrett only has 1 tackle tonight for Colorado State. Hedrick out of the shotgun, finds his man Miller at the 40, tackled immediately by Aaron Davis. And they're going to mark that short of a first down.
Good job by Davis. He's the second leading tackler on this team. Big playmaker. He can run in space and does a good job that time of tackling Miller, not letting him run after the catch. Now, Boise State here at midfield is showing that they're going to punt, but you have to be careful because there is an arsenal of trick plays that they use, particularly on special teams.
Trevor Harmon is the punter. He has thrown once this year. He's 1 for 1 for 30 yards. But he will punt this one away. Hansley back deep for the Rams, and he is mauled. And there's no way that Cleyshawn Page left him enough room to field that punt. Penalty flags on the field, and that'll go against Page.
Yeah, it's going to be kick catch interference. Could be a difference maker in field position, Andrew. The defense came up with a big stop. They got a 3 and out. They get the football back. Now they might get it the 30-yard line.
Page, a junior out of Los Angeles, Dorsey High School. Enrolled in the spring after 2 years at La Harbor College. He had offers from a few different schools, but committed to Boise on the spot, as you see the replay on the right side of your screen.
This may be targeting
that's
as
what
well.
I think
He dropped
discussing.
his head, yeah. When you use that crown of your helmet on a defenseless player, it could be cause for ejection.
Well, if targeting is called, they would then go to the replay booth to review if Page should be ejected. Kevin Marr still huddling up with his fellow officials.
And what they're looking for, among other things, is whether there were high-risk factors or low-risk factors as you get the call.
Kick catching interference. Receiving team. 3 disqualified from the game. 15-yard penalty from the foul spot. Automatic first down.
So that 15 yards stays no matter what, but now they'll go up to the replay official to take a look at whether or not Page should be ejected or not.
And we talked about the high-risk indicators and the low-risk indicators. High-risk indicators are dropping your head,
The ruling on the field is targeting,
launching, and not wrapping up. And Page is pretty guilty there of all those. What they want to see players do is aim low. The numbers are lower, but he drops his head there and he launches, leaves his feet, making no effort to turn his head to the side, use his shoulder. Hits him up high.
This has been a hot topic this year, the targeting rule. The rule hasn't changed. It's the enforcement of the rule that has changed with the ejection. But what they're doing now is talking to the replay official, Judson Howard, on whether or not Page should be ejected. Aaron, we saw Howard during halftime, and we kind of joked with him, hey, you had a busy first half with all those reviews on the touchdowns. He said, yeah, that was crazy. And here we are again, 9:17 to go third quarter, and another big call from Judson Howard, the replay official tonight. If indeed the ejection stands, that would mean Page would miss the first half of next week's game.
Coming into tonight, there were 54 targeting penalties. Only 15 of those were overturned.
So Dylan Lucart, we told you he had to sit out the first half tonight for targeting. Now his teammate Page might have to sit out against Wyoming actually in 2 weeks because Boise State has a bye next week.
Safety's certainly been a point of emphasis, and you see Chris Peterson, who's having some few choice words with Page. See him showing right there. You got to turn your head, get off to the side. Those are the low risk indicators. Wrapping up and attempting to make a tackle instead of delivering a big blow. Kind of does wrap his arms around right there, at least makes an attempt to. The drop of the head is the thing that is most damning on these replays.
Watch his head here.
Yeah, he's using the crown of his helmet. You can argue maybe he tried to wrap up, but when you drop your head like that, that's one of the high-risk indicators. My guess is this call will stand. And I'm all for it, man. I mean, you don't want to take away the aggressiveness of this game. I played the game with aggression and passion. But I also know the consequences of what head trauma can cause. I suffer from some of the issues and symptoms of having concussions in my past, pulling around on 19 bobs and powers and doing those things. So I'm all for things that keep the players safe. And the reason that they make these penalties so stiff is to affect the outcome so that players stop doing this, because the only thing that players, the data shows that they respond to is playing time.
Kevin Mars ready to announce a decision.
After further review, number 3 is not disqualified from the game. However, the kick-catching interference will be enforced from the spot of the foul, 15 yards, first down.
So Page does not have to leave. He is not ejected, but the 15-yard penalty will stand. And Colorado State will take over at the 32-yard line.
See there, Chris Peterson, head coach, having some choice words with Page. Turn your head to the side, keep your head up, see what you hit. That's football 101 that players learn from the time they start playing football.
Bibbs behind Grayson on first down, play action. Grayson rolls out, throws to Higgins, and he gets away from Brian Douglas and now pushed out of bounds.
And Andrew, let's take a look at last week with Dylan Lucart and his hit, and this week's with Page. Lucart's head seems to be up, and he turns to the side and uses his shoulder. To me, Lucart's was less egregious than Page's was.
Lucart got tossed, Page did not. Bibbs out to the bottom of your screen. Grayson throws over the middle, and he's got Gilmore, who gets away from a couple of tacklers, still fighting for extra yardage. Crockett Gilmore is a beast at 6'6", 255.
I think that they should try and get their tight ends involved a little bit more, but what set up that play was the first time, one of the only times in this game, that we saw Garrett Grayson be able to get outside on a bootleg and got a completion. Prior to that, Boise State had done an excellent job of having defenders in his face, but Boise now starting to dial up the pressure to try and affect Grayson.
Gilmore just got enough for a first down. Now Lovett, screen out, and he's tackled by Corey Bell.
3 straight plays where Boise State is bringing pressure. They've had some success with it early. It's going to be up to Colorado State to take advantage of that, create some mismatches, get the ball in space to their playmakers.
3-yard pickup by Lovett. That brings up second down and 7. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter.
2 high safety look great to run against this.
Higgins. And a Good job defensively by Brian Douglas. Not letting him get away for extra yardage.
Good job here by 82 Higgins. Just getting outside, and his big boy Kevon Cartwright trying to give him some love and some blocking out there on the edge. But Colorado State attacking the perimeter. When they do that, they're trying to get Boise State to get more guys out in the flat, and that will open up their defense, and that's when they can gas them up inside.
That brings up 3rd down and 3, and we have movement on the line, and penalty flags fly in. For Higgins, that's a career high in catches with 8.
Full start. Offense number 86. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Big penalty on Kevon Cartwright. That backs up the Rams. Are they in 2-down territory at this point?
Well, you certainly would like to be able to do that in 3rd and 4 instead of 3rd and 9. I think it depends on how many yards they pick up here, but this completely affects your ability to call the plays and limits your offense. When it's 3rd and 4, they were trying to run a power on that last play, and they certainly have proven that they could get those 4 yards. I think they're going to have to try and throw this thing, and it looks like with moving the tight ends there, they'll try and do that.
Grayson looking left the whole time. Pass is high and incomplete. Nearly intercepted by Douglas. That would have been his 5th pick of the year. And now 4th down for the Rams. And here comes the punting unit.
Grayson just threw this ball a little bit high. But again, as a young receiver, Rashard Higgins, if he has that football in his hands, he's got to be able to find a way to be able to get that. That was almost a costly penalty because Brian Douglas, number 1 for Boise, was right there. You see the frustration by Grayson. He knew he missed an opportunity, but that was set up by the procedural penalty the play before.
No doubt about it. Now fake punt here for the Rams. It's McKay running, and McKay is stuck, but a flag comes in. Rams trying to pull a trick play on Boise State. Let's see what the penalty flag is.
That point of the field, on a situation like that, I'd be shocked if it wasn't holding.
Holding. Kicking team, number 31. That penalty is declined. 1st down, Boise.
Penalties on Corey James. Chris Peterson declines it, and Boise State holds. They'll get the ball back, and the Broncos up 35-17. Back in Fort Collins as we take a look at tonight's Dairy Queen fan cam. Still some celebrating Halloween. Why not? A lot of Boise State fans making the trip. Never a big fan of the complete costume. And this guy with the mustache, one of my favorites. Kermit the Frog.
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Wow, that's almost as good as your Lou Holtz impression.
Let me tell you something. Adam Candelon.
Here we go, Boise State now with a trick play, and they just get rid of it, and it's incomplete. So following the fake punt, Boise State trying to give Colorado State a taste of its own medicine. 6:47 to go, 3rd quarter. Broncos can really put the pedal to the metal here against Colorado State. What a win this would be for Boise State to go to 4-1 in the Mountain West as Ajayi the ball carrier, and he's thrown for a loss. The Broncos control their own destiny with a win tonight as they look to get to the inaugural Mountain West Championship game. And somebody needs to make a play defensively for Colorado State, and Shaquille Barrett has been very quiet tonight, just 1 tackle.
Yeah, there's some NFL scouts here that are wanting to see what he can do. This is a perfect opportunity on 3rd and long. These are the types of plays where he's going to have to make on the next level should he get there.
Rams trying to get a quick 3 and out. Hedrick steps up. He's going to run across midfield, dives, and that's going to be a hair short of a 1st down.
If you're Boise State, you have to strongly think about going about this. They punted last time on 4th down when they got into a situation like this. It was just shy of the 50. Now they're across the 50. I think with the success that they've had running the football, you trust your offensive line. At the very least, you try and drive Colorado State off sides.
They line up to go for it. They do go for it. Hedrick keeps it himself. He's got the first down. Still on his feet to the 40. And a first down for the Broncos.
Andrew, that's the exact same play, a zone read that they ran on the first play of the game where there's some confusion on the mesh. This time there's no confusion. Hedrick makes a great read. And for the first time tonight, keeps it, gets a big first down on the board.
Keeps the drive alive. 5.5 to go, third quarter. This one goes to Ajayi running right. And we talked to offensive coordinator Robert Prince this week, and we said, what do you want to see Grant improve upon? As Ajayi is still on the ground after that carry, and now a whistle, and they're going to stop play. And the offensive coordinator Prince told us he needs to get to reads quicker and improve decisions, and Hedrick has done a great job of that tonight. We just saw it on that fourth down play. Now Ajayi is still on the ground, and the training staff for Boise State has come out to attend to the sophomore running back out of Plano, Texas. We'll step aside and come right back after this. Jay Ajayi walked off the field on his own power, but now the training staff continues to attend to the Boise State running back on the bench as we take another look at the replay of that last run.
Yeah, they run a power to the right and tried to wrong shoulder it. Hard to kind of tell. He twists funny when he hits the ground. Doesn't look like it's a lower leg extremity. But you wonder if it's a hip flexor or lower back.
Good news for Ajayi. He's back on his feet. He's rushed for 90 yards tonight, gone over 1,000 for the season. Derek Thomas takes his place in the backfield next to Hedrick on 2nd down and 4. They give it to Thomas, and Colorado State not fooled, and there is Shaquille Barrett. Ball came loose at the end, but they were saying his forward progress had already been stopped. They were asking for Barrett. He made a play.
Really on the field, the forward progress was stopped.
And this is what you need to be able to do if you're Colorado State, is cross faces, get off blocks, and that time Barrett does a really good job on Matt Paradis, one of the better O-linemen, number 65 for Boise State, bringing up a 3rd down. And you have to get yourself off the field here.
Ajayi back in the game on 3rd and 8. Hedrick looking deep, and it is incomplete. Tried to connect with Aaron Burks and DeAndre Elliott on the coverage for the Rams.
Well, the officials let him play on that. Burks had inside leverage on that deep ball, but because it was a little bit underthrown, Burks had to stop it, come back for it, but to me it looked like there was a little bit of contact on that.
And now on 4th and 8, Boise State is going to go for it with 4:25 to go in the 3rd quarter. And now Hedrick drops back and he'll pooch it away. So they showed that they were going to go for it. Hedrick punts and hits a beauty. How about Grant Hedrick? Is there anything he can't do tonight? His punt inside the 5-yard line.
And Boise State is doing to Colorado State what they wanted to be able to do, which is make the Rams earn every bit of it.
Well, earlier tonight we explained how Colorado State tries to go by the 12% rule. Fewer than 12% of their offensive plays resulting in sacks, penalties, drops, and turnovers. And right now,
the thing that I see here, the single turnover really should be 3 turnovers.
take another look at that again, Aaron.
Andrew, there's only been 1 turnover by the stat sheets, let's say, and that was the fumble on the scramble by Garrett Grayson. But remember, early on in the first quarter, in the red zone, they turned it over on downs, and then the botched fake punt, that's also a turnover. To me, that should be 3 turnovers, and those turnovers have all been caught.
And that's Woke who finds a hole for Colorado State. As nice as that offensive 12% system is, it doesn't factor into the fact that your defense has given up 35 points tonight.
In big chunks, in big plays. And Colorado State just hasn't been able to respond accordingly. And a lot of it has been lack of execution. They've had their chances, but it's been the Broncos that have capitalized and the Rams that have struggled.
1st and 10 for the Rams. 3:20 to go. Third quarter. Back to Woken. And Gabe Perez continues to flash for the Broncos.
I've been so impressed with the play tonight of Gabe Perez. Colorado State is just simply refusing to be able to block him. Here he is, comes off the outside edge, isn't even blocked. They do that typically on inside zone plays, but they've got to be able to account for number 33 because he's made several plays from the backside tonight playing for the injured Kyrie Marshall.
7 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and a forced fumble tonight for Perez. Pass is caught by Hansley, tackled immediately by Tyler Gray as the Rams try to get something going offensively. As you look at their last 4 possessions, fumble, missed field goal, punt, turnover on downs.
That's not the execution that offensive coordinator Dave Baldwin, or head coach Jim McElwain, wants, and certainly not what this team needs. Remember, we talked about what a win tonight would mean for this team. They are changing the culture inside that locker room, but the perception of this Colorado State team is that they're not a team that can compete for the conference title, and they're certainly playing like it so far tonight.
On 3rd and 6, the pass goes to Gilmore, and they get 5.5.
There's number 10, Hare.
And it looks like Colorado State's going to go for it here, Aaron, on 4th and 1 from their own 31-yard line.
Well, you got a big offensive line. You're down by 18 points. You're here at the end of the 3rd quarter. Maybe you try and draw them off sides here. Maybe you run a power, your best running play. Maybe you get behind that offensive line under center and run a sneak.
On the ground, trying to find a hole is Bibbs, and they mark him right at the sticks. And it looks like it's going to be good for a 1st down.
It's just an inside zone play, covering up guys, a little bit of penetration there. But Bibbs does a good job of getting north and south. And again, Coach McElwain and this Colorado Ram team showing you that they want to win this game. You have to be able to make those plays and try and close this gap that's 18 points here at the end of the 3rd quarter.
So they convert on 4th down. 1st and 10, Grayson to Lovett. And he is tackled immediately by Corey Bell.
Corey Bell, the 3rd leading tackler on this team, smelled that bubble screen right away on the middle screen. Did a very good job of fighting through his blocker and making the tackle.
Bell, the Boise native out of Capital High School, as we're under 1 minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Higgins has another catch at the 40. Rashard Higgins has a career-high 9 receptions tonight. Ioane on the stop for Boise State.
Boise State bringing pressure off the outside edge. Garrett Grayson picking it up perfectly and reading it, and throws the ball where they're not. Perfectly executed that time by the Rams, giving them a very makeable 3rd down.
It's 3rd down and 3. The Rams 6 out of 14 tonight on 3rd downs. Cartwright can't get away from Dante Dion. Excellent tackle by the sophomore out of Rialto, California.
Buddy, you hit the nail on the head. Tackling is the thing that Boise State struggled with, but they found a way to do it on a big 3rd down.
That's the end of the 3rd with the score. Boise State 35, Colorado State 17. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Colorado State jumped out to a 10-0 lead. Since then, they've been outscored 35-7. And to start the 4th quarter, another decision for Jim McElwain. It's 4th down and a very long 3. And he's going to punt, or at least he lines up to punt. Remember earlier on 4th and 1, he went for it. Hayden Hunt is the punter for the Rams. And we are set to start the 4th quarter.
For the Broncos.
Will they fake another one?
Yep. Nope.
Williams Rhodes fields the punt. He's got some room if he can get to the outside. Instead, he is caught just past the 40-yard line. Jim McElwain punted it away. His team down 35-17. 14:50 to go in the fourth quarter. Boise State has a 35-17 lead. The NCAA Football Challenge Campus Tour is making its way across the country with 32 stops. The tour is a video game area and football skills combine, allowing students the chance to qualify for the video game championship bracket and grand prize of $5,000, while everyone can test their football skills at the Enterprise Car Share Combine. Check out hashtag NCAA Football Tour on Twitter for more info. Boise State with the lead and the football, 1st and 10 for the Broncos. Jay Ajayi on the carry. Remember, he left for a play earlier, and for more on that, we go down to Lauren Gardner.
Andrew, I did receive confirmation. It was a lower back. Trainers got him to the bench, lifted up his jersey, looked over everything, gave him a thumbs up, and he was back in the game the very next play.
And they need him, Lauren. 13 carries, 91 yards tonight for Jay Ajayi. Hedrick, the play action, rolling right, and he'll just hold on to this one and dance out of bounds right about at the line of scrimmage.
Good coverage by Colorado State, and this is two very good, successful first plays on this drive, forcing the 3rd and long. And the first play was the Ryan King, number 94, getting penetration and stuffing the run. They try and come in a rollout, and they throw an incomplete pass, and here it is, 3rd and 10. Boise State in the second half's done an excellent job of getting themselves off the field. Now it's time for the Rams to do it. Maybe they dial up some pressure here. They're certainly showing it. That's what Boise State's done.
Broncos are 4 out of 8 on 3rd downs tonight. Hedrick throws on the run, and it's caught by Boldevine along the sideline, and he's got a 1st down.
Colorado State showed blitz that time, but they dropped 8 and only rushed 3, and it was because of that extra time that Hedrick had to be able to throw the football that they were able to find the holes in the seams of that defense, find Geraldo Boldevine, move the sticks. Very well placed ball.
Just over the outstretched arms of Corey James. Now here's Shane Williams-Rhodes, dangerous in space, and a good job defensively by Shaq Bell to make sure that Williams-Rhodes did not find an opening.
And that's a perfect example of Shane Williams-Rhodes making people miss out in the field. Good job. Take one step and they get north and south, but because he turns back right there, he only gets about a yard or two. If he could have fallen forward and gotten 2 or 3 more yards, that would have been a positive. Too much dancing.
Hedrick winds up, looking deep, has a man down there, and it's caught by Aaron Burks for a touchdown. Now there's a penalty on the play, but if it stands, it's a 42-yard touchdown. And if it stands, it would be the 5th of the night for Grant Hedrick.
Double moves versus man coverage has hurt this Colorado State team tonight. That's exactly what they used on that last play, Andrew.
Pass interference. Defense number 13. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
DeAndre Elliott biting on the first move, and a great route by Aaron Brooks.
3rd touchdown of the season for Aaron Burks. The 5th of the night for Grant Hedrick. And Boise State, with its quick strike offense, now has 42 points. 28 of those points unanswered. Aaron Burks is a speed threat for Boise State. Streak down the sideline, made a heck of a catch, and it's all Broncos in this one. 5 touchdowns on the night for Grant Hedrick, and the latest one to Aaron Burks.
You see Burks is going to run a stutter and go here, but watch the inside slot receiver, Shane Williams-Rhodes. He's what draws the free safety Trent Matthews away. It creates a one-on-one situation, and Grant Hedrick, right before he gets hit in the back with some pressure, drops a ball on the dime. Great effort by Burks coming back for that football. He's been averaging 12.5 yards per attempt. What a tremendous night Hedrick's had throwing the football.
And his parents are here tonight. His father, Shane, is a high school football coach at Central High School. He could not attend the BYU game last week because it was on a Friday night, and he had to coach on Friday night. No such issue here on this Saturday night, and what a performance by his son. As Goodale kicks this one short. Takes a straight off. It's still loose. Ball is still out. And finally, Joe McKay falls on it for the Rams. Dangerous for Colorado State right there.
You cannot afford to be lackadaisical on a kickoff. When that ball's on the ground, it's live. You got to either fall on the football or hunt somebody up. Too many guys for the Rams standing around. And that could have been a costly turnover and put the nail in the coffin here for Colorado State. They got lucky.
So poor field position for the Rams. 1st and 10 from the 7-yard line. Grayson looking to throw on 1st down. It's caught by Lovett at the 27-yard line. And now Charles Lovett is a little slow to get up for Colorado State. 21-yard hookup between Grayson and Lovett.
Football was a little bit high. It's hard to see there what happened to Lovett when he came down, but good job going up vertical. Strong hands. He's shown a propensity to be able to do that. But you wonder if he got slammed into the turf a little bit, but right there at the very end, he grabbed his right leg behind the knee.
Lovett with 6 catches tonight. He now has a reception in 16 straight games. Jim McElwain will come out to take a look, and we'll be back to Fort Collins in a moment. Colorado State training staff is working on Charles Lovett. He's in the background there. Hopefully just a cramp as we take a look at the Mountain Division standings. And again, the importance of tonight's game. The winner controls its own destiny moving forward in the Mountain Division. Boise State already beat Utah State. That's their only win on the road this year. And they've had a very tough schedule this year. Chris Peterson has said it's the toughest schedule he's had since he's been with the Broncos. But to get a road win here would be huge for this Boise State team moving forward.
No question, not just from a confidence standpoint, but again, being in the driver's seat in the division would be significant for them. I mean, that road schedule that they've had and all the injuries that they've had to overcome. But this team has just been grinding. There is no quit in this team, but look at that. I mean, when they played Washington, they were a super hot team. They took Fresno State to the wire. They found a way to be able to beat Utah State, and Chris Peterson told us this without question has been his toughest road schedule that the Broncos have ever played.
Grayson throwing on 2nd down. Pass is caught at midfield by Thomas Kaufman. 22-yard gain. Grayson to Kaufman.
Good protection that time. Grayson stepping into his throws. His throws have been a little bit high all night long, but when he has time and steps into them, they tend to find their mark.
So on 1st and 10, Grayson winds up again, and this time it's incomplete. He's looking for Joe Hansley.
Joe Hansley typically has good hands, but remember those miscues and the drops that they've had, and that's the 3rd tonight. And that would have been a huge pickup in 1st down. And remember, Colorado State is now trying to do to Boise what Boise's been doing it all night, which is getting big, chunky yards.
2nd and 10 for the Rams. Under 12 to play in the game. Grayson to the outside. Kaufman with another catch, and Ioane comes in to make the stop. Ioane out of the Punahou School in Hawaii. And no matter what Jeremy goes on to do in his life, he likely will never be the most famous person to ever come out of that school, because it's the same school that President Obama attended. 3rd down and 1, and it's incomplete. He throws it behind the intended receiver, Cartwright. But you would imagine on 4th and 1, the Rams will go for it here with 11:36 to go in the game.
Yeah, there's no question. And I thought that Thomas Kaufman had a chance to be able to get the first down if he just put his foot in the ground and stopped dancing. He did a good job making the first guy miss. This is a critical 4th down here.
6th time tonight that the Rams will go for it on 4th down. They've converted 3, and now they've converted 4. So a fresh set of downs for Colorado State.
I thought there was some early penetration that time by maybe number 40, Armand Nance, the nose tackle right there. Does a good job of crossing the face of the left guard, Brandon Haynes. Just a little too little, a little too late. But that, as a defensive lineman, was pretty dang good technique and play.
Grayson's got a man, and it's Hansley who reels it in.
Talking to the coaches, Andrew, remember they told us that those inside seam routes were the best throws that Garrett Grayson can make. And this one wasn't high, it was right on the money.
23-yard gain. And again, Colorado State races to the line. 1st and 10. They're at the 12-yard line. Donnell Alexander in the backfield. They give it to Alexander. And not much doing that time. Alexander, the sophomore out of Blue Springs, Missouri. Well, tonight's Red Zone is being brought to you by Verizon. Tonight, 2 touchdowns in the red zone for Colorado State. They jumped out to a 10-0 lead, had the crowd and the momentum on their side, but since then, it's been all Boise State as Grayson is stopped at the 5-yard line by Corey Bell.
That time, Andrew, they are in a 2-by-3 formation with their receivers empty, no backs in the backfield. I thought it was going to be a call draw, but it was good coverage that time by Boise State, and Garrett Grayson took the yards and took what the defense gave him. But here on 3rd down, you got some one-on-one up at the top of your screen. But man, you got number 5 in the backfield, feed that kid.
They do. They give it to Bibbs, and Bibbs is at the goal line. They're going to say he's just short of a touchdown. Now, it is good for a 1st down, but Bibbs cannot punch it in.
This is where I think if you're Colorado State, get back up to the line and run a play immediately. Too much walking around. When they've been able to do that, they've executed. But when they take time and allow Boise to get set, it's giving the Broncos some opportunities.
Now a whistle and a stoppage on the field.
Maybe they're looking to see if he got in.
Clock, please reset the game in 49. 9-4-9.
So they'll throw 10 extra seconds on the clock. It'll be 1st and goal for Colorado State. Bibbs has 1 rushing touchdown tonight. He continues to put his arms in the air looking at the scoreboard thinking he got in. Instead, it's ruled down at the 1. And Grayson trying to push the pile forward and get in. No signal, and I don't think he got it.
I don't think he got it either.
Grayson with just 1 rushing touchdown on the season. And he comes up short, so it's 2nd down and Cole. Wasted time here for Colorado State.
This is about pride right here, Andrew.
Bibbs, touchdown Rams, his 2nd of the night, his 14th rushing touchdown of the season. That is tops in the country.
Bibbs once again showing you his vision. When they run that inside zone, that cutback, backside hit's been there for him. Looks like the Rams are going to go for 2. Take the score, put them down by 17 if they were to make it, 25-42.
Bibbs now has 8 rushing touchdowns in the last 3 games. 2-point conversion try. Just the second time this season the Rams have gone for 2. Alexander, nowhere to go. Alexander is stopped, and the conversion fails for Colorado State. They stay with 23. So with 9:09 to go, fourth quarter, Colorado State trying to make some kind of a run. They now trail 42-23. What a season it's been for Capri Bibbs. His first year with the Rams, 14 rushing scores on the year. He gets it in for 6, but the 2-point conversion comes up short. Colorado State trails 42-23 with 9:09 to go in the fourth quarter. And maybe an onside kick here? No, they kick it away. The Rams have used several different fake plays tonight. Instead, they kick it deep here. This is Thomas still going. And Thomas is finally brought down at the 31-yard line. Well, it's been the Grant Hedrick show tonight. What a performance for Hedrick. 302 yards passing, 5 touchdowns through the air, and 1 touchdown on the ground.
Not a bad way to recover after fumbling the first snap from scrimmage tonight. We talked about the open of our show, the importance of Grant Hedrick's arm. They used to bring him in when he was behind Joe Southwick as a nice switch up and a run option, but he is showing that he has everything that you need to be a balanced passer. What a tremendous effort tonight by number 9.
Carried by Jack Fields on first down. Well, Joe Southwick threw 5 touchdowns against UT Martin earlier this year. The last Boise State quarterback to throw 6 touchdowns in a game, Jim McMillan, back on November 16th, 1974. McMillan threw 6 touchdown passes against Montana. As his parents watch on, wonder if we'll get another chance to throw one in the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you what, as quick as they're scoring, they don't even need to take deep shots to be able to give them up. Their average scoring drive's only been a minute long.
Unbelievable. Play action, Hedrick gets rid of it, and it's caught by Troy Ware. Adam Zucker in New York with a studio update.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Elsewhere in the Mountain West, Derek Carr to Devontae Adams for his 14th touchdown of the season. Fresno tying up Nevada at 7 apiece. Back to you.
Oh, yeah, the Bulldogs looking for their first home win over Nevada since 2006. A lot of implications in that game, not only in conference, but for BCS play.
They just squeaked out a win in overtime against San Diego State last week to remain unbeaten. Now 3rd and 4 here for the Broncos, and the pass is incomplete off the hands of Geraldo Boldevine. So Boise State will be forced to punt with 7:35 to go. What a year for Fresno State. One of 2 undefeated teams from non-automatic qualifying conferences, Northern Illinois being the other.
Yeah, they've done such a great job, and their quarterback, Derek Carr, has had a fantastic year. It started out with the birth of his son and some complications there, but certainly been no complications for this team. Tim DeRuyter has the Bulldogs playing at extremely high level. Not as good defensively as they'd want to be, but good enough when they need to be.
Sean Whale missed that punt, and it's down at the 35-yard line. Just a 28-yard punt for Whale. Well, coming up next, it's Inside College Football with highlights and analysis from all the games on a busy Saturday on the gridiron. It's Inside College Football with Adam Zucker and Brian Jones coming up next on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
Well, Andrew, we talked about changing the culture of this team, changing the perception. Colorado State needs to continue to compete because this game's not over.
Grayson goes down at the 46-yard line. That's good for a Colorado State first down.
And the coaches, especially head coach Jim McElwain, has really talked about how proud he's been of his guys, the way that they play hard, the way that they compete, the way that they do things on a day-to-day basis, including their preparation.
For more, let's check in with Lauren Gardner.
Well, guys, to add on the change in culture here for Colorado State, when we spoke with Garrett Grayson yesterday about what it's going to take to finish in his leadership, he said that Weston Richburg is really vocal on the sidelines, but guys, none of them have been very vocal. The morale over here is very flat right now.
Thank you, Lauren. As you say that, Grayson
Incomplete pass.
with an incomplete pass. Good pressure by Boise State by Robert Ash. Ash and Horn having big nights on the defensive line for the Broncos. Horn has 9 tackles.
That's what good teams do. They just refill and replace. And those younger players have stepped up in the place of the starters, one of which, Ricky Chungachu, didn't even make the trip. And that's where this Colorado State team is trying to get. Coach McElwain talking about creating a culture of excellence and accountability for what they do, telling his players, hey, all these young kids and recruiting, Coach, am I going to be able to start when I first get there? Telling those guys, hey, it's not up to me whether or not you play or not. It's up to you and the way you come in, the way you prepare, and what you do. And that's why he was brought here, to be able to change that culture, have a tremendous amount of mentors in his life, whether it's John L. Smith or Pat Hill or, of course, Nick Saban. Those guys know how to build and rebuild programs, and that man right there is doing it the right way.
Yeah, the line he told us yesterday was, I don't determine who plays. The actions of the players determines who plays.
That's kind of what I said, sort of, right?
I
was paraphrasing.
No doubt.
False start. Offense number 70. Illegal snap. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
I told you, don't let me tell stories. I'm going to mess it up.
Did a great job.
All right, thanks.
Penalty on one of your fellow offensive linemen, though. And that makes it 2nd and 9 for Colorado State, inside 6 minutes to go.
That'll affect the 12% rule.
Grayson's pass nearly picked by Dante Dion. That would have been his 3rd of the year.
Good cornerbacks have to be aggressive. They have to take chances. They have to have a sense for the football. Number 5 this time smelled that route, had his hands on it, got his eyes, never takes his eyes off the quarterback. And Garrett Grayson narrowly avoids a costly mistake here in the 4th quarter.
He could have gone 6 the other way.
Bye-bye.
Without it.
No question.
So now 3rd and 9 for Colorado State. Grayson has his man, and it's caught by Lovett. First down and more. Lovett still going. Cuts back inside the 5 and pushed out at the 2-yard line. Lovett was injured earlier, but just got 41 to make it 1st and goal.
And there's that skinny post seam route that Garrett Grayson throws so beautifully. And because of the location of the football, it allows Charles Lovett to run after the catch. And finally, here in the 4th quarter, we saw the poor tackling that's plagued Boise at times this year.
Bibbs is stopped. And that was Dylan Lucart who made the tackle. Colorado State has 546 yards of offense.
And that brings up the question to me, because Boise State has done a good job of bending but not breaking. They've allowed Colorado State to move up and down the field, but the Rams just simply haven't been able to capitalize on it. Here's a big opportunity for them.
Bibbs
And they get it.
is in. He has 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games. Now 15 on the season for Capri Bibbs. Tough about a nose for the end zone. The sophomore is closing in on the single season record for Colorado State. Calvin Branch rushed for 21 touchdowns back in 1996. Bibbs up to 15. And we've got a 12-point game with 4:51 to go.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Icy Hot, America's #1 topical pain reliever. By Lowe's, never stop improving. And by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
12-point game in Fort Collins with 4:51 to go. Some of the fans already left the stadium. A little bonfire out in the parking lot, but the Rams not done yet. They trail by 12, and they have all 3 timeouts. Now, you would expect an onside kick. Certainly Boise State is with their hands team up front for the kickoff. And just going back to that last touchdown, I think that Colorado State should have gone for 2 there. If they got it, they would have needed a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal. Now they need 2 touchdowns.
And there's certainly an argument for that. And I think the counter argument to that is end on a high note.
Colorado goes up and gets it. Not done yet. Put that bonfire out in the parking lot. Come back in. We still got a game here at Hughes Stadium.
Roll Charlie around. He'd be okay. With the new rule that you can't make the single pop up high without giving the opponent an opportunity to make a fair catch, this is tremendously executed. Devon Cartwright going up and taking that football. And I tell you what, Colorado State has not quit in this ball game, but I think late in this 4th quarter, Boise State has kind of taken their foot off the gas, and they could pay for it right here.
Cartwright 6'4", goes up and gets it. 1st and 10 for the Rams. Each team with all 3 timeouts. Grayson's picked by Dion. Well, Dion came close a couple of times tonight, and he finally got one. That's his 3rd interception of the season. And Boise State fans are saying you can fire up that bonfire again.
This is a ball that Garrett Grayson just simply shouldn't have thrown. Got too greedy. That's his favorite route to throw. The skinny inside seam. Little bit wobbly. Feet weren't set when he throws it. And finally, Dante Dion, the player who got torched against BYU at times, comes up with his 4th interception of the season and a big play to get the ball back for Boise.
This is Derek Thomas on the carry, and Jim McElwain immediately calls a timeout. With the break, let's go to Adam Zucker in New York.
All right, Andrew, thanks. Johnny Football has his skis on. Longest run of the season against UTEP. Slalom style. He also has 3 touchdown passes, and A&M just scored again. 49-7 right now over UTEP. Aaron, you'll be seeing Johnny Football next week.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier, Adam, that he would be the only guy I'd pay money to go see play, but next week I won't have to.
You'll actually be getting paid.
That's right.
To see him play.
I love to flip a script.
Mississippi State at Texas A&M next Saturday on CBS, part of a SEC doubleheader. Aaron Taylor and Tim Brando from Mississippi State and Texas A&M.
73% completion percentage this season, is 3rd in the FBS. Johnny Football is more than just a fast pair of legs.
Colorado State used its first timeout of this half, and now we have a whistle and a penalty flag comes in.
False start. Offense number 2. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
John wide receiver Matt Miller.
Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 4:37.
Miller has 6 catches tonight for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Tell you what, Curtis Wilson that time, the tackle number 96, got some great push on that offensive line. He's a big body boy in there. Where's Shaq Barrett?
Hedrick throws and it's incomplete. And that saves a timeout. Williams Rhodes couldn't bring it in. That'll extracurricular after.
You see the Colorado State players responding.
And there's a flag on the field after the pushing and shoving.
That could be big after that drop pass if it's on Colorado State. Certainly if you're the Rams, you're tired of getting pushed around, but you also have to play smart. The time to push around is during the play, not after.
After the play was over, personal foul, defense number 97, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That can't happen if you're Colorado State and Calvin Tonga, the big fella, 6'3", 330 pounds, out of Inglewood, California. Automatic first down as we take another look at it.
See number 77 there, Spencer Gerke pushing him, then Barrett comes over and retaliates. And then finally Tonga there pushes, and that's when the flag gets thrown. It's the old adage in football, man. Cliches are cliches because they're true. The officials always see the retaliation, and that certainly was the case on the last one.
Now a whistle. The play clock was at 3. Kevin Marr has been a busy man tonight.
My position coach in college, Joe Moore, one of the best there's ever been at that position, used to frown upon the pushing and shoving. What he would tell us to say is, hey, I'm number 75. I play left guard. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in 40 seconds.
Well, ironically, yesterday we sat in the Colorado State offices and we talked to Shaquille Barrett.
Please reset the game clock to 4:32.
And you asked Barrett, if somebody hits you, would you go back at them in retaliation? He said, I might wait a play or two, but I'll get him back. Well, he didn't wait, and then it ended up being his teammate Tonga. And you're all over it.
Just saying.
4:32 to go in the fourth quarter. This is Thomas running right. Jack Bell could not make the tackle, but he gets a little help from Corey James. And a quick timeout called for by Colorado State. Well, assuming Boise State
Colorado State
goes on to win, they would control their own destiny in the Mountain Division. Here's what they have left. They have a bye next week. Then they host Wyoming on November 16th at San Diego State right here on CBS Sports Network on November 23rd. And they close out the season at home against New Mexico. If they run the table, they're in the inaugural Mountain West Championship game on December 7th.
Yeah, and from all looks of it, depending on what happens tonight in that Fresno State-Nevada game, that game would be hosted in Fresno. But this was an important game tonight for the Boise State Broncos. They needed to be able to find a way to win. They've struggled on the road. Colorado State was coming in on a 2-game win streak, feeling hot. They smashed Wyoming a couple weeks ago. I think it's pretty safe to say if the Broncos walk out of here with a win, which it appears, they'll be favored in the rest of their games to finish the regular season.
Derek Thomas is pushed back. As we go back to New York, Adam Zucker with a studio update.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. Boise fans want a rematch with this guy. Derek Carr, Fresno State on 3rd and goal against Nevada. He's going to keep it. Reaches out. Gets the touchdown. Don't punch anybody, Derek. They're up 14-7, guys.
All right, Adam, thank you very much. And Aaron, if you look at the standings here, San Jose State still alive. Alive and well in the West Division because they're 4-1. They beat UNLV earlier today, and later this season they play Fresno State. So don't count out San Jose State just yet.
What a matchup that'll be with David Fales, the Spartans quarterback. He's a next-level guy with potential. Certainly Derek Carr is somebody that the NFL is looking at. Rod Carriger trying to get some things done in San Jose with that team, but you're absolutely right. It would be ill-advised for any of the teams in the Mountain West to sleep on the Spartans.
It's Ellie Edwards, who's a little shaken up for the Rams, now on the sideline. 3rd and 7 for Boise State. Hedrick on a draw, nothing doing. And they still haven't blown the whistle. They finally do. Calvin Tonga, who got that 15-yard penalty earlier on the drive, making the stop.
And you know why he made that stop? Because he stayed in his rush lane. On 3rd down, you got to be able to get pressure, but stay on your rush lane. So many times tonight, number 9 right there has used his legs to extend plays, to scramble for first downs, but when you stay in your rush lanes, you can make a play.
Colorado State is out of timeouts. The clock continues to tick. Trevor Harmon has come in to punt for Boise State. Hensley back deep. Drifting over towards the near sideline. He muffed it. Hensley dropped it, and he's able to recover at the 2-yard line.
That's the second time tonight in this second half we've seen fielding issues with the special teams for the Rams, and that's really been, to me, Andrew, the story of this game tonight. There's been so much good that Colorado's done, but they've just been inconsistent. Too many times they've followed good football by bad football, and that's what young teams do, and that's what his job as head coach is trying to correct.
So they'll have to go 96 yards to punch this one in with no timeouts. 3:20 to go. This is Gilmore on the catch. He's got the 10, he's got the 15, and he's got a first down after a 12-yard pickup.
Yeah, they kept him in to block earlier and then snuck him out that backside, and he ended up finding himself wide open. Boise State, if you're the Broncos, you don't want to finish this game on a sour note. Get yourself off the field.
Grayson's pass is caught by Rashard Higgins. That's his 10th catch of the night. And that is a career high for the true freshman.
What a player Hollywood is going to be if he can keep his head on straight and continue to work hard. Because the success that he's having this early doesn't just come to players. You got to work to be good at this game of football.
Grayson held on for it for too long. Ball came out. Ball is loose. Alexander can't fall on it, and now it looks like Alexander has it. DeMarcus Lawrence was the one who freed that ball from Grayson. Such a disruptive player, although Colorado State recovers.
Yeah, just coming over that right tackle there, Jared Beard. As an offensive tackle, you can't afford to give up a short corner, but good hustle by Donnell Alexander to get that ball back.
Grayson gets rid of this one, and it's caught by Woke. Colorado State cannot stop the clock.
Been impressed with number 5, Dante Dion, tonight. Felt like he got exposed a little bit in that BYU game, but showing some moxie. But just a sophomore, you got to have a short-term memory.
Cartwright makes the catch inside the 40 as Colorado State goes into Boise State territory. A 24-yard pickup, but he did not get out of bounds.
Colorado State needs to start working this football towards the edge and the perimeter. Yes, the clock stops, but it starts rolling as soon as they get set. That's precious time. Remember, this is a 2-score game. They not only have to score here, they have to score again and get the ball back. Every second counts.
Grayson trying to get out of bounds, tippy-toes his way down the sideline. He does. Nice pickup for the quarterback, Garrett Grayson. He got 16.
If this is a 1-score game and you got 1:50 left with no timeouts, then you can cruise. But remember, they got to get a touchdown here, get another onside kick, which is very low probability, and then put another drive together.
Now, Aaron, if they had gone for 2 the last time they scored, they could kick a field goal right now and make it a 1-possession game. They have to get the onside kick no matter what. But if they had gotten the 2, they would have had 31-34. It would have been an 8-point game. Now they have to score 2 touchdowns because they did not go for 2 on their last touchdown.
And that was almost an interception there. Grayson's got to be careful. He's starting to force this football a little bit. One of the things the coaches told us about him is that he goes through his reads, he makes good decisions. Coming into tonight's game, he had only thrown 6 interceptions, so he's done a pretty decent job of that. But he's starting to press a little bit late in this ball game.
2nd and 10. Colorado State's at the 23-yard line. Grayson lost the football again. It's loose. Colorado State is able to recover. Bo Martin applying the pressure for the Broncos.
Whole left side of that offensive line collapsed with pressure. There just wasn't any room to go. Great swim move that time by number 58, Robert Ash, who's had a tremendous game in a backup role.
That's a catch by Thomas Kaufman, but inbounds, clock continues to move.
And here's to your point, you're 4th and 5 right now. You could kick a field goal, but now you got to go for it. Not only that, but those 5 yards kept you in bounds and bled time off the clock.
And we have a drop by Cartwright.
And the 4th of the night, and it was a costly one.
And that will do it. That was 4th down. Turnover on downs. Colorado State cannot stop the clock. Boise State will take a knee and improve to 4-1 in the Mountain West.
See head coach Jim McElwain there, not happy. Tell you what, when he goes back and this team looks at this film, there's going to be a lot of good that they see, but there's also a lot of bad. And good teams don't beat themselves. They don't make mistakes, and they don't play inconsistent. That's what he's tasked with doing, is find a way to not necessarily make the great play, just eliminate the bad one.
Well, here's the up-to-date standings in the Mountain Division. Boise State has the tiebreaker over Utah State by virtue of their win last month. So the Broncos now, if they win out, they'll play on CBS December 7th in the inaugural Mountain West Championship game. The Broncos keep an impressive streak alive. They have not lost back-to-back games since 2007. Lost last week against BYU. Came back here this week, and Chris Peterson's team with a big win on the road, just their 2nd victory away from home this year. And Boise State goes to 4-1 in the Mountain West, 6-3 overall. Colorado State falls to 2-2 in Mountain West play and 4-5 overall the season. Time now for our Napa play of the game.
Well, time and time again, we saw Grant Hedrick use his arm to make plays, but on this one by Shane Williams-Rhodes to be able to keep his feet in bounds and score that touchdown, so impressive and just so symbolic of what Boise State was able to do to the Rams back in tonight.
Grant Hedrick accounted for all of Boise State's touchdowns, 5 through the air, 1 on the ground, and the quarterback is with Lauren Gardner.
Well, Andrew, you said it right there. Grant 5 through the air, 1 on the ground. Explain how you guys were able to wear their defense down.
Yeah, it didn't seem like we were on the field very long, but when we were, we kind of were making explosive plays that we needed to, and things were clicking tonight, which was good.
Tonight had a lot of significance in terms of the Mountain Division. What was your mindset coming into tonight's matchup?
Yeah, we knew we had to win in order to get to where we want to be in the conference, and it was a big game going in for both teams, and we were fortunate to get out with the win.
We were just talking about your parents being here tonight. They missed your first start. He was coaching on a Friday night. What does it mean to you to have them here tonight?
Yeah, it was good. My mom was here, and my 2 aunts were at the BYU game, so that was good. But my dad was coaching. I think that was probably a lot harder on him than it was for me. So it was good they're here tonight and see it.
Always good to have the old coach at stands. Thank you very much, Grant, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Grant referenced the time of possession, 20 minutes for Boise State to 40 minutes for Colorado State. But it's all smiles for the Hedricks as Boise State rolls up 42 points and a big win on the road, Aaron.
This was huge for the confidence of Boise State. It puts them in the driver's seat, but also gives them some confidence to be able to finish strong. Winning the Mountain West Conference is certainly what one of their goals is. That's still very much alive. This tough schedule and a lot of injuries have plagued this team, but they were able to overcome them and get a big win on the road.
And a chance to heal some of those wounds as now Boise State has a bye next week. that will do it from Fort Collins, Colorado. The Rams jumped out to a 10-0 lead, but it was all Broncos after that. For Aaron Taylor, Lauren Gardner, our entire crew, I'm Andrew Catalan. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to CBSSports.com. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So long from Fort Collins, but don't go anywhere. Inside College Football with Adam Zucker and Brian Jones starts right now.